Welcome. The Mortgage People. Friedlander always has money to lend. And by Gary Hurley's City Olds, where we sell for less and service best.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to the annual clash between Calvert Hall and Loyola. And John Saunders, I guess unless we have a tie game, something's going to give in this series today.
That's right. Well, Calvert Hall's won 6 straight, and that's brought the record even at 28, 28, and 8. And that's amazing after all these years. They'd be tied in a position like that.
One thing about these two teams, they've had a couple of ups and downs during the year, but both kind of come in with a run going. Calvert Hall has won several in a row, and Loyola's won 3 of their last 4.
Well, Calvert Hall lost to Pauley and then racked up 6 in a row, and they come in here at 7-2. Well, Loyola's had an up-and-down season, but they're 6-3, and they've won 3 out of their last 4, so it sets up a great clash.
One thing similar to many years, Calvert Hall a little bigger, more depth. Loyola will have to do it with smaller numbers and get more out of their people going both ways.
That's right. Loyola goes both ways. As you say, a smaller team, so a key is going to be the line. If Loyola can control the line, then they've got a chance to make Calvert Hall pass. If they can do that, they got a great shot because they got a good secondary.
So that's all tied up in the series. We'll try to break that tie when we come back with the kickoff right after this.
After you carve your Thanksgiving turkey, go cut a deal on a Nissan truck with any Datsun dealer. It's the Nissan Truck Challenge, and if you ever wanted to buy a truck, it's a great time. Datsun dealers have been challenged to sell every truck before the end of the month, and they challenge you to find better values anywhere. Whatever you want, king cabs, 4x, sport trucks, long beds, name it. They're all up for grabs, but they're moving fast, so you move fast. Come to the Nissan Truck Challenge. You'll thank me, Pilgrim.
America's making its choice, and it's looking for a great new deal. So McDonald's has put it together in one great meal. America's choice, America's choice. This is America's choice.
This is it, America. America's choice. A quarter pounder with cheese, extra large fries, and a large Coke, all together for just $2.79.
This is America's choice. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Scott Garceau and John Saunders back at Memorial Stadium. Right now, let's meet the stars in the 65th annual meeting. First, the lineups from Calvert Hall. Number 7, junior quarterback Chris Marzallo. Number 10, junior quarterback Mark Grunder. Number 11, a senior halfback Carl Perry. Number 12, junior halfback Andre Berry. Number 14, senior quarterback Kirk Maggio. Number 20, a junior split end Sean Lyles. Number 21, senior halfback Frank Grunder. Senior halfback Scott Freitag. Number 25, a senior linebacker David Kelly. Number 26, junior halfback Michael Sanders. Senior strong safety Butch Velton. Number 31, a senior halfback, Brian Cronenberg. Junior, split end, David Damsgaard. Number 33, a senior tight end, Tony Harris. Number 34, junior halfback, Bob Persing. A sophomore halfback, Kevin Lyles. Number 41, junior fullback, Pat McGovern. Number 42, a senior fullback, Tim Healy. Number 47, senior fullback, Paul Habler. Senior linebacker, Pat Reed. Number 50, a linebacker, senior Chris Vasso. Number 51, junior guard, Todd Still. Number 52, a senior linebacker, Mike Haskell. Junior center, Don McDaniel. Number 56, senior center Scott Wheeler. Number 61, senior guard Tony Rampola. Number 62, senior, a guard, Mark Giulio. Number 64, junior guard Sean Campbell. Junior linebacker Dave Bonhoff. Number 67, senior guard Blake Connolly. Number 70, senior tackle Mark Fisher. Number 71, senior tackle Tony Corby. Number 73, senior, a tackle Eric Douglas. Number 74, senior tackle Ken Nichols. Number 75, a junior tackle Jeff Keel. Number 76, senior center Rich DeLay. Junior tackle Doug Jasinski. Number 79, junior tackle John DePietro. Number 81, senior linebacker Jim Mullen. Number 82, senior tackle Tim Rakoski. Number 84, junior split end Gary Oakes. Number 85, senior split end Chip Barnes. Number 86, junior strong safety Sean Gildner. Number 87, senior tight end Steve DeGrosse. And number 89, senior tight end Gary Reynolds.
Here's a look at the lineup for the Loyola Dons. First of all, wearing number 5, a sophomore quarterback, Mike Tribb. Wearing number 7, a junior end, Bruce McGonigal. Number 9 is Dave Carlin, a junior halfback. Chris Baines, wearing number 20, is also a halfback and a junior. Trent Spriggs, number 23, a halfback and a junior. Frank Gelati wears number 24. He's a junior quarterback. Rob Schmidt is the kicker, and he's a senior and wears number 25. Troy Vance, one of the captains, wears number 27, a fullback and a senior. Chris Arthur, also a fullback, wears number 33, and he is a junior. Wearing number 34 is Thurman Mallory, a halfback and a sophomore. Steve Gurley wears number 36, the junior fullback. Tom Burt at guard is a junior and wears number 50. John Jeppy, a center. He's a senior and he wears number 52. Wearing number 55 is Joe Bresci, a junior center. Tom Casper wears number 60 at guard and a junior. Wearing number 64 is Tom Lyug, a guard and a senior. Sean Brune wears number 65. He's a guard and a junior. Will Wrightson, wearing number 67, is a tackle and a junior. Junior wearing number 68 is Rob Warson. He'll play at guard today. Wearing number 70 is Mark Milligan, a tackle and a junior. Wearing number 72, a senior tackle, John Leinentude. Don Acosta will wear number 74, a tackle and a junior. Tom Healy, number 77, comes in at guard. He's a junior. Rob Kunish is a tackle. He'll wear number 78, and he's a junior as well. A sophomore tackle, Tyrone Willoughby, wears number 79. Frank Zizmansky wears number 80, and he's a junior end. Pat Leahy, also at end, is also a junior and wears number 81. Christian Allen, number 82, an end and a junior. A senior and one of the co-captains is Chris Dolch. He'll wear number 85. And Rob Klein, an end, wears number 87, and he's a junior.
Okay, so we're just about ready to go. Scott Garceau and John Saunders from the stadium. Loyola and Calvert Hall for the 65th meeting. This one's all tied at 28, 28, and 8. Here's the kickoff. That Schmidt to boot it. Rather short kick. Fielded by the Cardinals. They fake the reverse. And Sean Lyles has some running room. He's across midfield and has a chance to go all the way. If he gets a block, Sean Lyles will score on the opening kickoff, John. And it looks like we picked up where we left off a year ago. Unbelievable. They faked the reverse this time.
Well, last year they got the reverse on the kickoff, which set up the winning touchdown. A key block was thrown there by Michael Sanders. He got in the last block that allowed him to get into the end zone for the touchdown. But you're right. I feel like we haven't left since last season.
So Sean Lyles takes it 74 yards on the opening kickoff, and Calvert Hall jumps out to a 6-0 lead. Kirk Maggio now on to attempt the point after. Here's another look at it. You see the reverse was faked right there as Lyles and his brother Kevin Lyles crisscrossed, and he's off to the races. Right now we're getting ready to kick the extra point. Kirk Maggio puts it up, and the kick is good. So just like that, we have played all of 13 seconds, and Calvert Hall has scored 7 points.
Well, as I said, it was Michael Sanders. Sanders, of course, one of the big running backs. We'll have a look at that again when we come back.
City O's has been selling Oldsmobiles since 1919 and has earned a reputation for selling for less and servicing best. But new Oldsmobiles aren't the whole story. At City O's, you can always count on service satisfaction, whether it's parts, body shop repairs, or mechanical services that you need. City O's has a fine selection of quality used cars, plus daily rentals and lease cars. In other words, City O's is down the road with you all the way. If I can ever be of any assistance, see me. My desk is right on the showroom floor.
Nevada Bob's, the world's largest chain of discount golf stores, comes to Baltimore. Nevada Bob's, featuring the world's largest selection of name-brand golf equipment like Spalding, Wilson, Titleist, and McGregor, all at prices unmatched anywhere. Our indoor driving range will make shopping at Nevada Bob's fast become your favorite sports. So remember, for all your golf needs, from clubs, bags, and balls, to shoes and golf apparel, it's Nevada Bob's, 11021 York Road in Cockeysville, near Valley View Farms.
If you tuned in about a minute too late, you missed the opening touchdown. Sean Lyles took the opening kickoff, 74 yards. Kirk Maggio has booted the extra point, and they've got something to cheer about on the Calvert Hall side, a quick 7.
Well, this is one of the keys that I talked to Joe Bruno about before the game. Special teams he was very worried about. That's what lost them the game last year when they were the favorites, and it's cost them again early already.
Kirk Maggio, the Cardinal quarterback, will kick it off. Back deep, number 9, Dave Carlin. Maggio gets a good foot into this one. Trent Spriggs takes it on about the 8 and gets up to about the 24-yard line before he's cut down. Steve DeGrosse makes the hit for Calvert Hall, and we'll have the first offensive play from scrimmage coming up. Let's set the backfield for you. The Loyola Dons quarterback by Frank Gelati. The running backs are Steve Gurley and Trent Spriggs, and a guy we can look for a lot today is number 7, who's coming to the near side. That's Bruce McGonigal. Calvert Hall has switched their defense this year. They're running out of the 4-3, and this is Gelati on the keepers. Got some room, has a first down, and gets up near the 40-yard line, down to about the 38. Butch Velton made the hit for the Cardinals, and that's something I think we're going to see a lot of today. Frank Gelati on the sprint out. That time he elected to keep it. 14 yards on the pickup.
As you say, Joe Bruin told us that Gelati's a lot better on the sprint out than rather than dropping back if he's going to pass or run. And as well, with the size difference on the line, they want to get outside rather than try and go right up the middle with anything.
This time they stack it up in the eye. Steve Gurley and Trent Spriggs, the tailback. Gelati rolling to the far side of the field and is tripped up as he just gets across the 40.
Trying to use the same play, go on the opposite direction, catch Calvert Hall sleeping, but he almost got outside on that one. Saving tackle, or he would have picked up 10 yards or so.
Calvert Hall for years has played the 5-man front, but this year Augie Maselli has elected to go to the 4-3, more of a pro-type defense, and they've had some pretty good success with it. 2nd and 8. Gelati got 2 on the last one. This is Spriggs. Just a couple over on the left side. Tony Corby, the right defensive tackle, 6'2", 230. Let's set up first the offensive line for Loyola. At left tackle, it's Mark Mulligan. The left guard is Tom Lyug. The center is Joe Bresci. At right guard, John Jeppe. And the right tackle is Chris Dolch. The tight end is Pat Leahy. And the wide receiver, Frank Szymanski. 3rd down and 6. Throwing in the middle, and it's picked off, intended for the tight end. And the Calvert Hall Cardinals have come up with another big play. Pat McGovern, the middle linebacker, with the interception for the Cardinals as it went off the hands of Pat Leahy, the tight end. Here's a look, John.
You can see as he rolls out to throw it, as you said, Joe Brune likes his quarterbacks to roll out. The ball is thrown just a bit behind him. As he reaches up for it, he knocks it directly into his opponent's arm, and Calvert Hall has another big break.
Loyola most worried about falling behind early, and that's what could happen here after the turnover. Calvert Hall already has 7. Cardinals on the ground. That's Scott Freitag. Tom Lyog makes the hit for Loyola. Short gain on the play.
Another major key, as we said before the game for Loyola, is controlling the line of scrimmage when they're on defense, because they want to force Calvert Hall into passing. They feel if they can get them to pass, they've got a better chance.
Sanders in motion. Maggio off play action, doesn't have much room out there, and tackled for a loss. Troy Vance, we'll see a lot of him today. He's the leading tackler for the Dons. He's the captain, and he gets around the field. Not very big, 5'10", 175 pounds, but he's the heart of the Loyola defense.
And this is the type of situation that Loyola hoped to force. Now they're going to come into a passing situation where the Cardinals are pretty much forced to pass. And with the type of defensive secondary that the Dons have, they're going to be at an advantage here, or they feel so at least.
Sean Lyles is split to the near side. It's 3rd and 11 for Calvert Hall. Maggio hands straight up the middle. That's Healy. Gets inside the 40. Chris Arthur made the stop there for Loyola, and it'll be about 4th and 7.
Healy, of course, the leading rusher for the Cardinals this year, 116 carries for 673 yards, and he's part of that big backfield along with Sanders. They're both big kids. They didn't get enough that time, though.
Ball is right on the 40-yard line. It's 4th and 7, so Tim Healy will punt. Bruce McGonigal back as the solo safety for Loyola. Healy's a good punter. This time it's a high punt that will bounce, and it's a good punt. It's going to be inside the 10, rolls dead on about the 8-yard line. Gary Reynolds down there to down it, so Loyola will take over deep in their own territory. 1st and 10 on their own 8, a 33-yard punt for Healy. See part of the crowd looking on, the annual Thanksgiving Day Bash. This, of course, the first of a doubleheader. Calvert Hall and Loyola, and then it's City and Pauley, and what a year the Pauley Engineers are having. Unbeaten, and their defense unscored upon. They've given up 1 touchdown all year, and that was really an offensive touchdown.
It was against Calvert Hall, as the last touchdown scored on Pauley.
Gelati rolls to the far side. Looks like he's going to keep it. Up across the 15 and forced out of bounds. Mike Sanders, I think he's the only Calvert Hall player going both ways. Loyola uses a lot of players that start on both offense and defense, but Agumicelli has enough depth that he can go with separate units.
That's going to be one of the interesting things as this game goes on, and we're playing in such cold temperatures, which draws a lot more of your energy, whether Loyola can keep up their energy and keep up their spirit for the entire game when you got everybody going both ways.
And size is quite a factor, too, as John pointed out earlier. We'll show you just how they match up down in the pits. Calvert Hall with a big advantage. 2nd and 3. Gelati going to throw, and it's complete for a first down across the 20. Alan Christian made the grab.
One of the interesting things about the rollout as we take a look at the replay, he fires a strike as Christian comes back to the ball. That's the way they tell you how to do it, come back to the ball. But one of the interesting things about the rollout is the quickness. Calvert Hall has excellent quickness. And whether or not Loyola can continue to get outside on them will be a big question.
Szymanski split to the near side. That was Rob Klein who made that last reception for the first down. 1st and 10 Loyola on the own 21-yard line. The toss for McGonigal is a little high and through his hands. On the coverage, Mike Sanders.
Loyola will also go for the short pass. They feel that Gelati doesn't necessarily have the arm that he can throw those strikes downfield, so that's what we're going to see a lot, is receivers going out, coming back to the ball for their 7- and 8-yard hitches.
Joe Brune likes to send his plays in with his wide receivers. Rob Klein just checked in with a play from the bench. It's 2nd down and 10. split to the far side is Klein. In the slot is number 7, Bruce McGonigal. McGonigal's a guy they like to isolate one-on-one. He comes in motion right now. Throwing upfield, well, he threw into really triple coverage. It was intended for Rob Klein, but he was well covered, and I think, John, that time Frank Gelati forced the football a little bit.
Well, there's no doubt about that. There's no way he should have thrown it at all. If he had thrown it, he probably should have put it up in the first row of the stands rather than going for a receiver in triple coverage.
So now it's 3rd and 10. The Dons started at their own 8-yard line. Out of the eye. Gelati throws upfield, and it's picked off. Intercepted. And the Cardinals have their 2nd interception just like that. Number 21, Frank Grunder, who's had 4 on the year. So Grunder grabs his 5th interception. It was intended for Frank Szymanski. And Calvert Hall with a big play on a kickoff and 2 interceptions here in the early going. 6:05 left in the quarter. Calvert Hall 7, Loyola nothing.
A check for all the money you need. If you own a home, it's easier to get than you may think. This is Friedlander Financial's Loan Central. This is where Friedlander home equity loan specialists help you get the money you need. These people are trained to say yes. 9 out of 10 homeowners who call Friedlander get the check they need within 1 week. Whether you need $5,000, $10,000, even $100,000, normally 1 week is all it takes. If there's something worthwhile a check like this can do for you, call your local Friedlander office. Here's the number to call. When a Friedlander-trained operator answers, give her your name and telephone number and tell her the kind of loan you'd like. Friedlander understands the confidential nature of your call. Why spend another night worrying about money? In 1 week's time, you can have your own Friedlander check.
In Towson, call 828-4171.
Where's the score sheet?
Scott Garceau and John Saunders back at the stadium. Calvert Hall has already intercepted 2 passes. 1st and 10 from the Loyola 30. And Mike Sanders hits the right side and gets about 3 or 4.
Michael Sanders, the ball carrier.
John Jeppe made the stop for the Dons. Quickly, let's set the Calvert Hall offensive line. Left tackle is John DePietro. The left guard is Tony Rampolla. At center, it's Scott Wheeler. The right guard is Todd Still, and right tackle Ken Nichols. Nichols 235, Still 200 pounds. DePietro 205, and the center Wheeler 190. So Calvert Hall with some pretty good size advantage. This time it's Healy straight ahead, big, strong running back, and he's close to a 1st down near the 20.
Well, we're going to see a lot of Sanders and Healy. Between the two of them, over 1,000 yards. They're both very big, very strong. And so you know their offensive line has done a good job for them, because we're talking about 9 games, over 1,000 yards gained between the 2 backs.
And Healy's only caught 1 pass, John, but he's the guy they like to go to down here near the goal line. He scored 11 touchdowns, and he really gets tough down close. This time, not much happening as the left side of the Loyola defense stacks that one up. Healy stopped for little if no gain.
I talked to Joe Bruin a couple of days ago, asking him about his game breakers and who his key players in the game were. Almost everyone he named were defensive players. So you kind of figure that that's going to be the key for Loyola. If they can stop those 2 big backs and get a little something going on offense, they're going to be in the game.
Well, their defense has been backed up here with the 2 interceptions. Did get the 1st down. This is Mike Sanders. Got some room. He could score. He's in for the touchdown. Mike Sanders with a 20-yard score as he got a big hole over on the right side, cut back toward the middle, and went in basically untouched for the touchdown.
Well, not only did he get the big hole, but there was a huge explosion on the front line by his offensive line. By the time he took 2 steps, he already had a 3-yard gain, and from there it was just a little bit of dancing into the end zone.
He got a good block from fellow running back Scott Freitag. They went 30 yards in 5 plays for the touchdown. Kirk Maggio in to kick the extra point. The kick is up. And it's no good. He pushed it off to the right side. So Calvert Hall, with 4:18 left in the quarter, takes a 13-0 lead.
It's a great time. If you ever wanted to buy a truck, it's a great time. It's the Nissan Truck Challenge. And challenge starts with C, that rhymes with V, and that stands for value. Every Datsun dealer around has been challenged by Nissan to sell their trucks before the end of the month. And then they send in extra allotments of trucks. So you know your Datsun dealer wants the top deals. Come in tonight and ride home in what could be the best truck value of your life. It can only happen during the Nissan Truck Challenge. See at your nearby Datsun dealers early for the best selection.
America's making its choice, and it's looking for a great new deal. So McDonald's has put it together in one great meal. America's choice, America's choice. This is America's choice.
This is it, America. America's choice. A quarter pounder with cheese, extra large fries, and a large Coke, all together for just $2.79.
This is America's choice. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Well, Calvert Hall with some early domination. Here's the touchdown.
Well, you can see there's a big hole. You can drive a truck through that hole. A key block, as you said, by his fellow running back. And from there, he just has to dance it into the end zone. But as I said, by the time he took 2 steps, he was already 3 yards across the line of scrimmage.
So I guess Loyola has to regroup. They've been stung here early with 2 interceptions and a kickoff return for a touchdown. 4:18 left in the first quarter. They're down 13-0. And, you know, I think they just need to get their offense going a little bit and think that like they're just starting. Forget about those 13 points up there. This is Trent Spriggs at about the 12, across the 25, and up across the 30 to about the 32.
As I say, you really can't fault the defense of Loyola. They've been on the field practically the entire quarter. The offense has nothing going. 1 for 5 passing is Gelati right now with 2 interceptions. And that tells a story right there. You know that they're not moving the ball. Therefore, the defense is on the field the entire time.
Now we've got a penalty being marched off. Referee Bill Ryan. See the call, face mask. So Loyola by far their best position here in the early going, up across the 45. They'll start first down and 10 from their own 47. 21 yards on the return from Trent Springs, and then a little help with the face mask call. Ball given to Spriggs across the 50 into Calvert Hall territory. Good pickup on the play. Spriggs is just a little guy, 5'5", 143 pounds. They really don't have much size at all in the backfield. Calvert Hall's running backs, Gurley 5'9", 173, and Spriggs 5'5", 143. Quickly, let's set up the Calvert Hall front 4. Eric Douglas, 6'6", 265. Tony Corby, 6'2", 230. Mark Julio, 5'10", 200. And Jim Mullen, 6 feet, 195 pounds. 2nd and 2. Gelati, the quarterback, flips it back to Baines, and Baines is stacked up.
It's going to be interesting to see what Loyola can do, because with Calvert Hall's quickness, I really don't think they're going to get outside on them like that. And with the difference in the size on the line, it's going to be tough for them to run it up the middle.
Officials are going to bring the sticks in and check it out. Baines got very close to the first down marker. As Joe Brune mentioned, John, you know, he doesn't have a lot of confidence in his ability to throw the football long. They feel they can move on the short passes, and as you see, they're short by about the length of the football. We're going to have to use a control thing where they can hit the short passes and mix in some runs and try to keep the Calvert Hall defense honest.
Well, it's going to be interesting also to see if they continue to roll out like that, because they may have to go into a quick drop-back type of offense to try and get the passes over the middle quickly, because the coverage has been excellent. They've been triple-teamed, and we saw 4 guys around the ball and 1 interception.
3rd and a short one. 3rd and about a foot. Straight ahead, that is Gurley, and he has the first down. Steve Gurley, a junior. They're young in the backfield. Gelati, the quarterback, a junior. The running back, Spriggs, Gurley, juniors, and Bruce McGonigal, also a junior. 2nd first down of the day, I believe, for the Dons from Loyola.
First down and 10 for Loyola, the ball on the 42.
do them a world of good if they could get a touchdown in here after falling behind. Penalty markers down as Frakes busts through for a good gain. But I think it's coming back to call motion against Loyola. Frank Grunder made the stop for Calvert Hall that time, but Spriggs popped a pretty good one, but it's going to come back.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Loyola because it negates a big gain, and it was a gain that was spot hard for by Spriggs. He's a little guy, but he's very quick, as you can see, quick off the mark.
Illegal motion called on the Dons. Takes the ball back to the 47-yard line. First down at 15. Timeout, Calvert Hall.
Calvert Hall wants to talk things over here, and as is the case in high school football, in Maryland at least, the coaches are allowed to come out on the field and talk to their players. We used to seeing captains coming over to the bench to talk to. There you see some of the fans enjoying this traditional rivalry, and it's a good time for all the people involved from Calvert Hall and Loyola.
They're not fired up, are they, Scott?
Probably we're up about 6 a.m. tailgating to get ready for this 10 o'clock kickoff.
That's right.
I know both schools had a lot of alumni parties last night and this week, and there will be more parties today. There's a traditional party that has gone on for 25 years, and I think some couple hundred people donned tuxes and tails last night for a bash at the Golden Arm.
And they're probably still wearing the tuxes here today, I'll tell you.
If you see anybody well-dressed, you'll know where they came from.
I think the reason for the timeout, basically, with a 13-0 lead right now, and they really had Loyola against the ropes, but they get a touchdown here, and it's almost nothing what they've done, basically. They'd only be up by 1 touchdown, so they want to get out there, make sure that they don't allow Loyola more than 3 right here.
Augie Maselli felt that last year that Loyola really perhaps had the edge on offense and defense, and it was only his kicking game that won it for him as McPherson ran back a punt for a touchdown and set up another one with a kickoff return to the 3. So they come back today right where they left off and do it all over again. First down and 15. Just across the 50 at the Calvert Hall 47. Gelati drops back, throws downfield for McGonigal. He's open and makes the grab. Looks like he had some problems adjusting to the football. May have had a sun problem over there, but a good catch by Bruce McGonigal inside the 25-yard line. And let's check it out again.
Well, you watch again here, Scott. I think what happened is McGonigal gets his body turned away that he doesn't really feel comfortable with as he has to go to the ball. But he goes up and makes a great grab, and a nice job to hang on to it, too, because anytime you go down to the ground like that after making the catch.
That was Frank Grunder on the coverage, so Loyola doing something they haven't done, throwing the football deep. And Chris Baines, the ball carrier, goes to the right side for 2 or 3. Julio and Pat McGovern made the stop for the Cards. Calvert Hall calls their defense the Cobra Corps, by the way.
That's right. They all came out before the game, and they look like Army fatigues that they had on under the uniforms.
Let's give them 4 on that last pickup, 2nd and 6. McGonigal comes in motion. Handoff goes straight ahead to Spriggs. Spriggs on the season, 81 carries for 292 yards. That averages out to about 3.5 yards a lug. Eric Douglas, the big guy, he's one that a lot of the Division I schools are looking at. The right defensive end for Calvert Hall. Watch him. He's number 73, 6'2", 265 pounds. He's 2nd on the team in total tackles and leads the Calvert Hall defense in unassisted tackles. 3rd down and 5. Big play here for the Dons. They're trailing 13-0. Looking upfield, and it's nearly picked off. Mike Sanders batted it down. The pass was intended for the tight end, Pat Leahy.
Again, he was trying to go short there, but he was throwing into coverage. I don't know if we would see it again on a replay, but McGonigal was wide open in the end zone.
Now I think Joe Brune wants to talk it over on 4th and 5, a big decision for him. There's the play-action fake, and
you watch, he's throwing into coverage right here. You can't see it on the replay. There's 4 guys around the man he's going to, and McGonigal is wide open in the end zone.
Actually, Sanders made a good play because Leahy appeared to have Butch Velton beat and was open for a second, but then Sanders made a quick recovery and swatted it down. So now it's 4th and 5. What do you do, Coach?
Well, 4th and 5 at this point, down 13-0. Why not go for it?
Yeah. I'm sure that's going to be the case. Rob Schmidt is the Loyola kicker, and Joe Brune said in the right situation he would consider that, but I think right here he'd like to get 6.
Yeah, you come out of this with 3, and you've given Calvert Hall another big lift at this point because there was the big play, the pass to McGonigal right now. So if you stop them with 3, and you're not guaranteed 3 either.
And the ball's on the 19, so you're not turning it over in great position. 4th down and 5. Out of the eye, McGonigal comes in motion to the near side. Gelati is going to keep it, and I don't know if Calvert Hall thinks they've stopped him short. First down the other way, so Gelati got a couple, but was short of the first down. He needed 5. David Kelly, the strong side linebacker, forced him out of bounds, and Calvert Hall takes over on downs. They only really gained about 1.5 yards there.
And I think that might have been a broken play, Scott. As a matter of fact, when you saw Gelati come over the sidelines, and Brune had a number of questions for him. The handoff, or the fake handoff, didn't go cleanly at all, and it looked like the play might have been broken.
Healy and Sanders behind the quarterback, Kirk Maggio. And this is Mike Sanders. Runs out of a tackle across the 15 and brought down by Bruce McGonigal. McGonigal, who, plays both sides of the ball for Loyola, started every game as a sophomore. He's now a junior, and he has 9 of Loyola's 18 interceptions this season. So he's around the football.
He's a game breaker on both sides of the ball because, as we saw him just make that outstanding catch to get Loyola into good territory. And as you say, he's their leading interceptor as well.
9 yards on the last play by Sanders. And this is Healy, and he doesn't have much going for him. It may be enough for the first down. Yes, it is. The first down is signaled. Troy Vance and John Jeffy. Calvert Hall has not thrown the football yet, John.
They haven't had to. They got those 2 big horses in the backfield, and as I say, with the size difference, they can wear down Loyola's defensive line over the course of the game, and they've done it early.
Time just about out in the first quarter. This will be our final play. That's Healy straight up the middle for a couple, and that's going to end the first quarter. So it's a first quarter that's been dominated by Calvert Hall with a kickoff return for a touchdown and 2 interceptions. We've played one at the stadium. It's Calvert Hall 13, Loyola nothing.
City O's has been selling Oldsmobiles since 1919 and has earned a reputation for selling for less and servicing best. But new Oldsmobiles aren't the whole story. At City O's, you can always count on service satisfaction, whether it's parts, body shop repairs, or mechanical services that you need. City O's has a fine selection of quality used cars, plus daily rentals and lease cars. In other words, City O's is down the road with you all the way. If I can ever be of any assistance, see me. My desk is right on the showroom floor.
Did you ever wonder what it would be like to be one of the last people on Earth?
There's nobody. I mean, there's nobody.
What would you do?
The burden of civilization is on us.
Fiction, isn't it?
The legal drinking age is now 10, but you will need ID. Let's be real.
It's the night of the comet.
Stars are up ahead.
The night the teenagers ruled the world. Night of the Comet. Rated PG-13.
Now playing at area theaters, check newspaper listings. Your friends at Santoni's Supermarkets would like to extend their warmest Thanksgiving wishes to you and your family. At Santoni's, serving you is our pleasure.
Hope your Thanksgiving is off to a good start. Calvert Hall's is. Scott Garceau and John Saunders from Memorial Stadium. The 65th meeting between these 2 schools. First play of the second quarter. Calvert Hall has it on their own 31-yard line. 2nd down and 8. Fake to Healy. Maggio with some pressure on him, runs out of it, and gets it upfield before he's finally forced out of bounds.
You said the fact, Scott, that Calvert Hall has not passed the ball so far. That would have been their first attempt. If you take a quick look at the stats, they passed for 757 yards this season, and two backs had over 1,000 yards in rushing. So they were rushing for more yards than they're passing for anyway, so they're true to form.
Third down and 2.
Third down and 2. Healy and Sanders in the backfield. And Kirk Maggio looks at the defense and immediately calls timeout. I think the Cardinals were a player short. Number 89, Gary Reynolds, the tight end, just walked on the field. So there's timeout on the field. 11:55 to play in the first half. Calvert Hall 13, Loyola nothing.
I was relaxing watching a really good movie the other night. And all of a sudden there's a commercial. And this announcer's screaming at me about some car sell-a-thon. You notice they don't say sale. They say sell-a-thon. That's exactly what it is. A big sell.
When your Buick dealer gives you a price, believe it.
There's one thing I hate. It's a high-pressure sell.
Every dollar you invest is important. So invest your money where the rates are right now. Invest your money with Provident Bank of Maryland. Because right now, Provident's one-year certificates of deposit are offering a very attractive rate. And you only need $500 to get Provident's great rate. Now you know why the buck stops here. Because the bucks do a lot better here. Provident Bank of Maryland. For you, for now, for the future.
This game is tough enough with 11 players. Calvert Hall only had 10 on the last play on 3rd and 2, and they called timeout. Now they're at the full load, and it's Mike Sanders with the football trying to get that first down. He's very close. Forced out of bounds right around the 40-yard line. Troy Vance one more time for the Dons. Knocked him out.
We'll quickly run down the first quarter stats. Of course, the score 13-0 Calvert Hall. Yards rushing about even. Calvert Hall 10 rushes for 47. Loyola 10 for 43. The passing, Calvert Hall has yet to put the ball up in the air. And Loyola's put it up 7 times, only completed 2 and been intercepted twice. Total offense, Loyola has 77 yards and Calvert Hall's 47. So the big difference, of course, is the opening kickoff return for the touchdown.
And they're bringing the change all the way across the field here to measure for the first down, and the first down has been signaled, so Calvert Hall will retain the football. Interesting note, John, on the touchdown from Sean Lyles to open the game. He was the player last year who got the fake from Garrick McPherson when he ran it all the way back to the 3 that really won the game for Calvert Hall in the 4th quarter. So this year he got the football and did something with it. First down and 10, just short of the 40. And Sanders right across the middle, got 2 or 3. John Jeffy finally stopped him. Jeffy makes a lot of big plays for Loyola, leads the team in sacks.
Calvert Hall's ability to run the ball has to concern Joe Broom, because this is exactly what he did not want to see. He wanted to control that line of scrimmage and didn't want those 2 big backs coming at him.
2nd and 8 as Chip Barnes and Gary Reynolds check in for the Cardinals. Tim Healy's got the football and only got about a yard. Knocked down in a hurry.
Tim Healy on the carry for Calvert Hall. Brought down by number 33, Chris Parker.
Will Wrightson also involved on the stop there for Loyola. 3rd down and 7. Kirk Maggio throws his first pass of the day, and it's complete. Sean Lyles has it, and Calvert Hall has a first down.
I think, as we've seen in the short passing game from Loyola, that's what we can look for Calvert Hall, too, when they do put the ball up in the air, which they've only done once. He's 1 for 1, though.
College and professional players who brought our state fame on the gridiron will be honored by Maryland's new football shrine. 7 Colts and 6 players from Maryland colleges and universities will be the first inductees. You can meet the men who make pro football great in Maryland. Join them at the Baltimore Convention Center on December 6th at 6 p.m. for the Maryland Football Shrine Banquet. And that's Scott Freitag, who busts through the Loyola defense inside the 40 all the way down to the 37 before Bruce McGonigal finally stopped him.
Had a huge hole, too. I think if you watch, Scott, if you isolate on the line on each play, you can see the Calvert Hall team just blowing the Loyola line back 2 to 3 yards on every chance. If the backs are quick enough, they're going to get through those holes like Freitag did there.
Tony Harris and Sean Lyles check back in. It's 2nd and 2. Throwing deep for Lyles, incomplete, out of bounds. Chris Baines on the coverage there.
He got it over top of Chris Baines, too. It was just a little bit overthrown. Lyles tried to run under it, but just didn't quite have the speed to get under the ball. But it wasn't a badly thrown ball.
So now they'll come back on 3rd and 2 as Reynolds and Barnes check back in. Calvert Hall in that Delaware wing tee. Show a lot of motion. Throwing upfield. This time it's complete. Pass caught by Chip Barnes. Barnes, the senior, has got 3 TDs on the year. Thurin Mallory on the coverage, and we'll take another look at that completion.
14 yards on the play. It looked like someone might have missed the coverage stop because he just went in there and stood inside. He didn't really even come back to the ball. He just kind of turned, went 10 yards and stood there.
Well, there's a flag down, and this could be off or not as they're marching back upfield. So Calvert Hall hits a pass and penalized, similar to earlier in the first quarter when Loyola had a good run, and that was called back. Holding's the call against Calvert Hall. Ball back across midfield at about the 48-yard line. 9:42 to play in the first half. Calvert Hall on top, 13-0. The 65th meeting between these two schools, and the series is all tied. Both schools have won 28. 8 games have wound up in a tie. Maggio's going to throw again, throwing deep for Lyles. Lyles is open, and the ball just overthrown. Chris Baines was on the coverage, and perhaps Lyles slowed down a little bit, John.
Yeah, I was going to say it looked like he maybe lost it at the last minute as he looked back over his shoulders, because he looked like he was going to get to the ball and then at the last minute pulled up. So perhaps he lost it. We're going to see it again on the replay here.
One thing this play showed us that Kirk Maggio can get the football downfield.
It definitely gets it down there. And as I say, you watch Lyles, the last second right there, looks like he pulls up instead of going to the ball, and perhaps looking over his shoulder. He did lose it in the sun.
I was just going to mention that it's a bright, sunshiny day here. Temperatures in the 30s. Good day for football, but that sun is bright. There's a flag down. The penalty has been declined. It's 4th and 16. Bruce McGonigal deep for Loyola, and Tim Healy. There's McGonigal. Tim Healy will punt it for Calvert Hall. He's got a good foot. McGonigal driven back and over to the far side, takes it around the 15 and gets stacked just across the 20. 38 yards on that punt from Tim Healy. Timeout down on the field. 9:13 left in the first half. The Cardinals 13, the Dons nothing. Back in just a minute.
When you say football in Baltimore, you mean number 19. And when you say number 19, you mean Johnny Unitas' Golden Arm. Located at 6354 York Road, the Golden Arm's newly expanded menu features a wide variety of veal and sauté dishes with fresh seafood specials daily. When in Johnny's, be sure to sample the Long Island roast duck and Johnny's special ribs. Open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Johnny Unitas' Golden Arm has become a favorite place for family dining in Baltimore.
You want to know what the Nissan Challenge means? It means every Nissan Datsun dealer intends to move every car and truck before the month ends. If you want to buy, it's a great time. The challenge came from Nissan, and they made it tougher by sending in extra shipments. Now it's a matter of pride. The dealers are determined to move everything, including the great Nissan sports cars, the Pulsar NX, the 200SX, the incomparable 300ZX. So for great values in sports cars, come to the Nissan Challenge. Be at your nearby Datsun dealers early for the best selection.
Back at Memorial Stadium, hope your Thanksgiving is off to a good start. 13-0. Calvert Hall leads this game. Loyola has the football, and Gelati is going to run it upfield. Oh, you heard that hit. Yeah, they're playing for keeps down there.
Get out of bounds, I think this is what they tell the quarterback to do. Don't take a hit like that.
Butch Melton made some of that noise.
Watch it again on the replay. Gelati would be advised. He's got as much as he's going to get, so just step out of bounds. Get out right there instead of taking that lick.
Mike Sanders was in there. That was quite a hit. He did get 9 on the play, so 2nd down and 1. Loyola trying to get on the scoreboard, trailing 13-0. They line up in the eye this time. Long count, McGonigal in motion. Gelati throwing for McGonigal, and it's overthrown out of bounds, incomplete.
Thought maybe they'd catch the Cardinals sleeping on the play, looking for just 1 yard. They're looking for a running play naturally.
Brian Kronberger was covering, John, and he's the answer maybe to a trivia question. He's the only player to score against Pauley this year. He picked up that fumble and went 31 yards, and those are the only points that Augie Weibel's Engineers have given up the entire season. Of course, they'll play City this afternoon. If you want to see a great football team, come out and take a look at Pauley this afternoon at 2. Trent Spriggs for a short gain on the left side.
Trent Spriggs, the ball carrier of Florida Dodge.
Look at News Scene 2 reporter Brenda Carl.
Is she a Calvert Hall fan or a Loyola fan?
I'm not really sure. She couldn't have gone to either of the schools.
First and 10. Ball's on the 34. Gelati still has it, and he's stacked up, hit in a hurry by David Kelly. He fooled some of the Cardinals with the fake, but not Kelly.
Looked like he wanted to swing a little pass out to Pat Leahy, his end, and Leahy was open, but he couldn't quite get the ball out. He had 3 guys in his face.
Kelly has made a lot of plays like that when he leads the team in unassisted tackles with 30. 5'11", 195-pound senior David Kelly, strong side linebacker. Loss of 4, so it's 2nd and 14. McGonigal is split wide to the top of your screen, and that's where he's looking. Incomplete. That's a ball that Bruce probably would catch about 9 times out of 10.
Just glances off his shoulder and through his hands. Be there when Channel 2 today at 4 when Tony Easton leads the New England Patriots against the Dallas Cowboys live from Texas Stadium. New England's fighting to gain a wild card spot in the AFC as Dallas battles to keep pace with a pack of contenders in the NFC East. NFL action today at 4 on Channel 2. Let's all be there.
New England with a 50 spot last week against your favorite team. And how about Dallas? They scored 3 against Buffalo.
Oh, so
should be interesting. Gelati wants to throw down the middle. A big rush by Douglas. Now fires it up, and McGonigal makes the catch for a first down.
You've got to give Gelati a lot of credit on that play. He scrambled out of a couple of tackles and then threw a strike. Didn't have time to pump his arm all the way back, and you watch, he just kind of risked this ball.
Watch the heavy pressure from, you'll see 73, Eric Douglas come into your screen right there, and I thought he was going to have a sack.
He steps up, and as you can see, he just rifles that ball. And a nice job by McGonigal to get to it as well.
15 yards on the pickup, a first down for Loyola. They're out across the 45 at about the 46. Gelati on the sprint out. He's going to turn it upfield, has some blockers. and gets across to the Calvert Hall 45-yard line. So the Dons starting to move the football. Douglas made the stop for Calvert Hall.
Starting to move the football, Scott, but what do you think about how much Gelati's running the ball? Do you think it's wise at this early point in the game?
I think, John, one of the problems, according to Joe Brune, is the fact that Gelati doesn't have a lot of experience back there. It's his first year, and they've had problems throwing out of the pocket. They haven't protected the quarterback good, so that gives them the option of passing or running. And I'm not sure if it'll work in the long run, but here he comes again. He can turn it upfield inside the 40, so got 6 or 7, and they're kind of stretching out the Calvert Hall defense, at least at this point.
It's certainly working at this point, but I'm just concerned as the game goes on, Gelati gets a little worn out, takes a few licks. It gets hit in the arm a couple of times. It could make a difference in the game.
Don't you remember when you were 17, you could run all day? Take care.
Very true.
7th first down for Loyola, and I think there was a question whether they could move the football against Calvert Hall. They have answered that. They just haven't been able to move it into the end zone at this point. 1st and 10 inside the 40. Frank Gelati's the quarterback. Throwing, and it's incomplete, intended for Pat Leahy.
That was one of those times when Gelati really didn't have to rifle the ball like he did, and because he did, he threw it behind Leahy. That's one of those touch passes. You just have to throw it out in front of the guy, let him run into it, because he did have his man beat.
Joe Brune running in a play as Chris Baines checks in. Gelati, the quarterback, understudied Ed Burchell, the very talented quarterback for the Dons last year. Burchell is now playing lacrosse in the ACC, so he learned from a good one. Draw play. Not much going as Baines is hit at the line of scrimmage.
Didn't fool anybody on that one.
Eric Douglas right there. Douglas, the biggest player on the field. 265 pounds of him. Jim Mullen also involved in that tackle.
He may be the biggest guy in the stadium or the near vicinity.
And now the Dons use their second timeout. Joe Brune takes a slow stroll. He'll be joining his team in the huddle as he comes across the field. There he is. Joe Brune and Augie Maselli, two very successful coaches. Joe's not really a rah-rah guy, but he gets his message across, and his players play disciplined football. Be there tonight on Channel 2 for the Wheel of Fortune at 7, followed by my favorite show, Tic-Tac-Doe, at 7:30. Then at 8 o'clock, it's NBC's new hot comedy hit, The Cosby Show, with Family Ties at 8:30, Cheers at 9, Night Court at 9:30, and the Emmy Award-winning Hill Street Blues at 10. A night of fun starts at 7 on Channel 2. Let's all be there. Don't forget, it's Tic-Tac-Doe at 7:30.
And you'll be right in front of the set, won't you? Glued. Don't try to talk to Scott at 7:30 on a weeknight.
Loyola's longest drive, this one began at the 23-yard line, and they've had the football for 10 plays, so the Dons are on the move. 3rd and 9. Pass is picked off. He threw it right in the hands of number 30, Butch Belton. And that's the 3rd interception for the Loyola Dons.
You watch Szymanski, who's the intended receiver on this play. He slips and falls near the sidelines. But again, there's good coverage, really. Here you can see Szymanski goes down. He just has to step in front of him, and it's an easy interception.
Well, Belton read Gelati all the way as he looked at the receiver the entire time and made a good play to pick it off for the Cardinals. The 3rd interception for Calvert Hall. .606 left in the first half. Straight ahead, it's Tim Healy. Got perhaps a yard or two. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification.
This is WMAR TV2 in Baltimore, Maryland's leader in sports broadcasting.
Interesting stat for Calvert Hall. With the 3 interceptions today, they have now intercepted 18 passes. They have only had 3 intercepted, so they're plus 15 in the interception department. That'll win you some football games. 2nd down and 8. Kirk Maggio throwing deep down the middle. He's got a man open, and it's just overthrown. That was Chip Barnes, who streaked down the middle. On the coverage was Chris Baines.
He had Baines beat by a long shot. Maggio, he shows he's got a pretty strong arm on a couple of these plays that he's whipped the ball downfield.
Too strong that time, John. He had him beat to the inside and really didn't have to throw that one up. He could have led him to the inside because he really had a lot of room. There's the quarterback, Kirk Maggio.
It's very cold down on the field, and that's got to be tough on a quarterback's hands, holding the football, releasing the ball, and you get hit in those hands quite a bit, too. Can do a little damage in cold weather like this.
Maggio came in having completed 30 of 53 for 395 yards and 6 touchdowns. Toss over the middle, and that one dropped right in the hands of Sean Lyles. Kirk laid that one on the money, but the cold hands may have had something to do with that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You can see Maggio turn to the sidelines and put his hands out like, I didn't overthrow that one.
We've got a legal procedure called against Calvert Hall, so Loyola will have a decision here. Is it 3rd and 8? Yes, it is. They've declined the penalty. Tim Healy will put the boot to this one. Bruce McGonigal back in single safety for Loyola. It's a nice kick. McGonigal watches it go out of bounds all the way back at the 25-yard line. So not only did he kick it well upfield, but he kicked it away from McGonigal. No return on the play. That's a 46-yard punt for Tim Healy. Clock is stopped. 5:11 to play in the first half. Calvert Hall 13, Loyola nothing.
Slow down. Whoa. Roy Rogers has something new that you ought to know. Hot topped potatoes.
Oven baked and brimming with fresh broccoli and cheddar cheese sauce. Melted cheese topped with real bacon. Taco beef, cheese, and sour cream.
Hot topped potatoes.
You from Roy Rogers. Fast food you'll want to eat slow.
Slow down.
This is Friedlander Financial's Loan Central. This is where Friedlander home equity loan specialists help you get the money you need. 9 out of 10 homeowners who call Friedlander get the check they need within 1 week. Whether you need $5,000, $10,000, even $100,000, normally 1 week is all it takes. To apply, please call this number.
Friedlander always has money to lend.
In Towston, call 301-828-4171.
Back at the stadium, we're in the second quarter. Loyola has the football, and coming straight ahead with it is Trent Spriggs. Gets a few yards up around the 30. When you're 143 pounds running against guys that are 265, you got to be quick.
He must look like William Perry to him. the big guy from Clemson who won ACC honors this week as the ACC Player of the Year.
He didn't earn it against Maryland, I'll tell you.
That's right.
Spriggs got 4, 2nd and 6. Sprinting out again is Frank Gelati. 35 and takes a hit around the 37. Frank Grunder up to make the stop for Calvert Hall.
Gelati not only doesn't mind running the ball, but he doesn't mind taking the licks. You watch in college and professional football, as soon as that quarterback gets near the sidelines and realizes he's not going to get any more yardage, he'll tiptoe out of bounds. Gelati just stays in there.
He's got some pretty good size. He's 6 feet, 175 pounds. That was a first down for Loyola. Just short of the 40-yard line. Interceptions have killed them. They've had 3 of them. And a good defensive play by Jim Mullen as he knifed through and just cut down Gelati.
Gelati had a good group in front of him as well. It could have been a big gainer if Mullen hadn't got in there.
Mullins leads the Cardinals in sacks. Second down. 4 minutes left here in the first half.
Lost of 4 yards, second down and 14.
Got a little 4-man wave going down in front of us here, Scott.
Just a ripple. Gelati looking upfield, but everybody's covered. Somehow gets out of the pack. There's a penalty marker down, and so is Gelati down right near the flag.
Gelati brought down at the line of scrimmage.
Really didn't have anybody open that time, John, if he did want to throw the football, because he only had one receiver upfield, and he was well covered.
Well, on top of that, at this point, looks like a face mask called, perhaps.
Or holding.
But at this point, he's not fooling anybody right now. It worked for a while, but every time they see him roll out, there's 6 Calvert Hall sweaters right in front of him. All he sees is white and red and yellow.
Talking it over with the captains. Calvert Hall had 4 captains in this game, and the 4 are all seniors, and they've been members of the varsity for 3 years. And Augie Maselli said that's the main reason they are the captains. Makes a good play here. He's trying to look upfield. Nobody's there, and it looks like the big guy, Eric Douglas, has him hemmed in here, and somehow he squirms out. Has trouble keeping his feet.
He shows a good scrambling ability, and naturally you would expect him to have that with as much rolling out as he does.
David Kelly and Mike Sanders finally ran him down, and now they're stepping off the penalty. It's a big one. Referee today is Bill Ryan. Good guys wear white hats, right, Bill?
He'll tell you that.
And there's the holding call against the Dons.
15-yard penalty. Second down and 34.
It's a big penalty because the holding occurred beyond the line of scrimmage, and I think that's where it was marked from. 2nd and 34. Gelati has good protection, and the man open is McGonigal.
You can see why McGonigal is such a valuable asset to this team as game breaker with the big play. He had to do a nice job to get down to that football.
That was a well-thrown ball, too.
Very well thrown. That's a place to place it on that. Keep it away from the defensive backfielders. Keep it down low, and McGonigal went down and got it.
It's heck to pick up 21 yards on a pass play and still need 14 more for a first down, but that's a situation, 3rd and 14, but really helped the field position. See Frank Gelati calling the play in the huddle. In the eye, McGonigal up at the top of your screen. Now he flips it over and led Spriggs just a little too much. Incomplete. Loyola will be forced to punt. Pat Reed was right there.
Interesting to note that they've gone to the drop back, which they were concerned that Gelati was unable to do, but he's thrown the ball with authority.
It's 4th and 14, and I don't see the... Yeah, they do have the punter on. Dave Carlin is in. Let's see who drops back here.
Dave Carlin to do the punting for Loyola.
Sean Lyles, and he doesn't have much respect for Carlin. He's only back about 20 yards, and guess he had a good scouting report because he hits it off the side of his foot. Very short punt, and it just did cross the 50. Calvert Hall will take over at their own 47. Only 17 yards on that punt from Carlin.
It's the first time Loyola has had to punt the ball today, which shows us they have been able to move the ball and get into good
They've
field
also
position.
had 3 intercepted, so you don't have to punt when you do that.
That's what they punted for you that way.
Getting down near 2 minutes, 2:13 left in the first half. Calvert Hall 13, Loyola nothing. Cards trying to hit one more time before halftime. Mike Sanders. Will he get outside? No, he won't. Big hit applied by Chris Baines.
Michael Sanders, the ball carrier, brought down by Troy Vance.
Troy Vance also there.
I like the looks of Sanders as a running back. He follows his blocking very well, and he has that quick stutter step that can fool you, where he looks like he's slowing down and then takes off by you.
Yeah, he doesn't run. He doesn't look like he's 200 pounds. He's bigger than most of the players on the field, but real quick. He's a junior. They'll have one more time around with him. Freitag is in the slot for the Cardinals as they run that Delaware wing tee. The flip goes to Tim Healy, and good penetration by Loyola's defense. He did not make the stop, but Tom Burt, the monster man, shot into the backfield to slow Healy down.
Yeah, he slowed him down enough until the rest of his teammates could get over to give some help. With great penetration, he just blew by his man and was in the backfield.
Chris Arthur wound up making the stop, and Calvert Hall is going to talk this one over with just 1:14 left in the first half. As far as these two teams' records shape up, Calvert Hall came in with a 7-2 mark. They got off to a slow start and lost 2 of their first 3 before they won their last 6 in a row. Their losses came to McNamara and then Pauley. Everybody's lost to Pauley this year. See some of the Calvert Hall fans looking on, but they really got it cranked up with a big win over McDonough, beat Gilman, Northwestern, Mount St. Joe, Curley, and Delaney. Loyola has won 3 of their last 4, and they came in here today with a 6-3 record. Loyola also lost to Pauley, and they lost to DeMatha, one of the powers in the D.C. area, and were shut out by Gilman 16-0. A lot of years this has meant the championship in the MSAA conference, but not this time around. Pauley is already taking care of that business.
The only thing Pauley has left to take care is to finish off an undefeated season if they can beat City. City, of course, goes into the game huge underdogs, only 5-4 on the year, but it could make your entire season if you knock off Pauley, a team that hasn't allowed a touchdown. At least their defense hasn't.
It'll make their season if they can score an offensive touchdown. But City really has improved their program, and they were above 500 this year, so they're not going to lay down and play dead for Pauley. 3rd down and 6 here as Kirk Maggio rolls back to throw. Heavy pressure. He's got some room up the middle. But I don't believe he got the first down. He stopped short, I believe, at the 45-yard line. Troy Vance, you've heard a lot of him in the first half. He made the tackle for Loyola. One more time, and you'll see the pressure close in on Maggio before he stepped up into the middle.
He steps up into the middle, and right there he stops even looking for someone to pass to. He figures he's got enough room to make it for the first down, but Troy Vance, with a nice stopping tackle, stops him a couple of yards short.
Back to punt, Tim Healy.
Tim Healy will punt. McGonigal is deep. Healy cranks this one up again. McGonigal will get a chance. Takes it at about the 9. And gets across the 15 and stopped right there. Ken Nichols made the stop. 36 yards on that Tim Healy punt. Healy averaged about 37 a kick, and he spent a couple of games on the sidelines as far as his punting was concerned. He had a pulled groin muscle, and that's affected his kicking somewhat.
You know, the placement of his kicks has been excellent as well. You didn't see it on that kick, but on the last 2 punts he's had to make, he's forced McGonigal way over to the sidelines where he had no chance for a return at all.
Clock running with 12 seconds left in the first half. And the Dons keep it on the ground. Trett springs to the right side. And check it, it's Gurley. And that should do it for the first half as the clock clicks down. We're out of time. So Calvert Hall takes advantage of the opening kickoff return for a touchdown and 3 interceptions. 13-0 our halftime score. We'll be back at Memorial Stadium right after this.
This is a WMAR-TV editorial. Here is Vice President and General Manager Arnold J. Kleiner.
Thanksgiving is that time of the year when most of us join family and friends for warm companionship and celebrate the good life. And many of us, like the Indians and Pilgrims who gathered in Plymouth, Massachusetts over 3 centuries ago, pause to give thanks for our good fortune. All of us here at Channel 2 sincerely wish that your Thanksgiving celebration will be enjoyable and rewarding. Although we don't want to dampen your holiday spirit, we think this is also a good time to remind ourselves that the ranks of the have-nots, not only in the remote corners of the world, but right here in our own backyard, are growing. That unhappy fact was underscored again this week when the governor's task force on food and nutrition reported it has found that more than 700,000 Marylanders are undernourished. The irony of that disturbing report is the fact that it comes at a time when state and federal officials are proclaiming an abundant harvest of a variety of food. Dr. David Page, task force leader, reports that red tape, agency duplications, and federal cutbacks of social programs, rather than a food shortage, are key factors in the failure to get food to the needy. We believe that many of the recommendations offered by the task force, including the creation of an agency to coordinate the war on hunger, should be adopted. While we wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving, we also wish, as concerned citizens, that the needy be remembered at times other than the holiday season.
Channel 2 welcomes your comments. Send them to Editorial Reply, 6400 York Road, Baltimore, Maryland, 21212.
Hi, I'm Rick Dempsey. Heart attacks often happen away from medical help. With CPR, you can sustain life during those crucial minutes before the ambulance arrives. Be prepared to help. Someone's life could be in your hands. Take a CPR course from your Red Cross or American Heart Association.
Well, we're back at halftime. Hope your Thanksgiving is off to a good start. I'm sure the turkeys are in the oven in most homes in the area, and that's all coming up this afternoon. This is, of course, part of the Turkey Day treat here on Channel 2, high school football, and you see the score. Calvert Hall on top of Loyola, 13-0 at halftime. And it was all done in the first quarter, John, as they hit him with a quick shot there to start things off. That kickoff return by Sean Lyles.
Well, I should say Sean Lyles last year was the guy who handed the ball off to McPherson in the reverse on the kickoff to win the game, or set up the winning touchdown. Here he is. They faked it this time. Keeps it and goes all the way. Get a great block from Mike Sanders just before he got in the end zone to get him in the end zone, which makes it a 7-0 game at that point.
That was a 74-yard return from Lyles. And the other thing, I think a lot of people question, and maybe even Joe Broon, whether his guys were big enough or maybe talented enough on offense to move the football. They have shown that ability. They've moved, but the interceptions have really plagued them. 3 in the first half.
When we went out to talk to Joe Broon earlier this week, tell us about your team, we said, Joe, the word that kept coming up is we're young. We know they lost a great deal of talent from the team that came into this game 9-0 last year before losing to Calvert Hall to spoil their undefeated season. So they are a young team. They're going to make the occasional mistake, but they have shown the ability to move the ball. I think Joe Broon is going to sit his quarterback Gelati down now and say, now don't force that ball into coverage, because each time he has thrown an interception, there's been 3 or 4 guys around.
I've been at Calvert Hall a couple of times this week watching them work out, and this bunch has been working just as hard alongside of them, the Calvert Hall Marching Band, and they'd like to say hi to Charles Freitag, who's in the hospital, the leader of the group, and they're performing on his behalf here today, Thanksgiving, and football wouldn't be the same here at the stadium without the Calvert Hall Marching Band and all the people from both sides that accompanying the bunch. Again, our halftime score, Calvert Hall 13, Loyola nothing. We're going to take a look at the schools that bring us some very special athletes, not only athletes, but student athletes. And first today, we'd like to start with Calvert Hall College.
A familiar autumn morning scene for the residents of Loch Raven Manor, the sights and sounds of the Calvert Hall Marching Band. Hard at work each morning under the watchful eye of Mr. Charles Freitag, the Calvert Hall Marching Band has gained well-deserved reputation as one of the finest scholastic musical ensembles in the state. But the fine arts at Calvert Hall go much farther than just marching bands on fall mornings. The Hall's art department, under the guidance of Mr. Victor Januszewski, have produced some of the area's most talented commercial artists and architects. Hall artists study sketching, painting, and sculpture, among other aspects of art. However, an education in the fine arts at the Hall is not only limited to those with previous experience. Each Calvert Hall student is required to take a course in the fine arts. For many, it will be choral singing. Calvert Hall's dedication to Christian education continues the vision of St. John the Baptist de La Salle, who founded the Christian Brothers in 1680. Christian education in the LaSallian tradition came to Baltimore 140 years ago when Brother Francis McMullen and Archbishop Samuel Eggleston opened the hall's doors on Saratoga Street to 100 students. Steady growth in student enrollment forced another move from the old hall at the corner of Cathedral and Mulberry Streets to Calvert Hall's present 32-acre Towson campus in 1960. A proposed fine arts building will give the Calvert Hall student sorely needed facilities for drama, art, and music education, as well as general lecture halls. In addition to the numerous opportunities in the fine arts here at Calvert Hall, each student also can participate in the school's outstanding sports teams. Year after year, Calvert Hall teams are among the finest locally and statewide. The Hall's college preparatory curriculum requires each student to attain a proficiency in English, religion, science, mathematics, foreign language, and history. The fine arts, an important element of the Calvert Hall education. Christian learning for today and tomorrow.
And they've learned a little about the game of football, too. Augie Maselli, the head teacher there, and Augie Maselli's record is just phenomenal. Since he's been at Calvert Hall in 1974, 92 wins, 21 losses. He's won 80% of his games, and he's turned out a lot of guys that have gone on to play both major college and Division II and Division III football and have earned scholarships. And, you know, he's a good teacher and teaches more than just the game of football, and the same can be said for Joe Broom.
In Augie Maselli's mind, an important stat, too, is that he's won 6 straight of these games, and he's going for number 7.
Well, he had a tough order last year. Loyola came in unbeaten, and they finished as the MSAA Conference champions, and the Dons having another good year right now. Let's take a look at Loyola High School.
Loyola High School is a Jesuit college preparatory school for boys that has built a reputation for excellence for more than 130 years. It is located on a 50-acre campus on North Charles Street called Blakefield. Loyola's student body has grown to more than 800 students in grades 7 through 12 who come from all over the greater Baltimore area. Virtually all of its graduates attend college. Loyola's curriculum is challenging. It demands serious preparation for successful college work. Its goal is to help the student develop habits of organization, perseverance, and self-motivation. A faculty of more than 60 highly trained teachers push Loyola students to achieve these results. Loyola is run by Jesuits, members of the religious order called the Society of Jesus. The school's president is Father James McAndrews.
The most important event at Loyola is what occurs between the teacher and the student. And I think our tradition at Loyola proves that. Another thing we might consider is the most important result at Loyola. It's a certain quickness of mind, a certain quickness in expression. But most importantly, it's a certain quickness in the heart to respond to the need, the aspiration, and desires of those people whom we serve.
Even though Loyola's students are expected to spend about 3 hours a day on homework, academics are only one part of the total education available at Blakefield.
Loyola High School has given me the opportunity to grow academically, socially, and most importantly, spiritually. However, to know Loyola, one must experience all of its facets. Academically, I have been challenged. Socially, I have made close friends through sports and extracurricular activities. And spiritually, my faith has been strengthened and my horizons broadened.
Beyond achieving academic and extracurricular excellence, Loyola strives to instill values in its young men, values that look beyond self-interest toward leadership and community service. Alumnus Joe Langmead is chairman of the school's Board of Trustees.
One thing I suppose I was aware of at the time when I was at Loyola was the solid academic education I was getting there in the Jesuit tradition. But looking back from 22 years, I think what my experience there was perhaps much richer than I realized at the time. One thing that stayed with me probably more definitively than anything else is my strong impression that it was there that I felt the importance of a value system.
Academic excellence, personal growth, and spiritual values. That's what makes Loyola High School Blakefield special.
And a little about the two schools, not only the football end, but the academics and what Calvert Hall College and Loyola High School are all about as we look at the Calvert Hall Marching Band entertaining us at halftime. And they've got something to perform about because the Cardinals from Calvert Hall lead this game 13-0. John and I will be back with more right after this.
City O's has been selling Oldsmobiles since 1919 and has earned a reputation for selling for less and servicing best. But new Oldsmobiles aren't the whole story. At City O's, you can always count on service satisfaction, whether it's parts, body shop repairs, or mechanical services that you need. City O's has a fine selection of quality used cars, plus daily rentals and lease cars. In other words, City O's is down the road with you all the way. If I can ever be of any assistance, see me. My desk is right on the showroom floor.
America's making its choice, and it's looking for a great new deal. McDonald's has put it together in one great meal. America's choice, America's choice. This is America's choice.
This is it, America. America's choice. A quarter pounder with cheese, extra large fries, and a large Coke, all together for just $2.79.
This is America's choice. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
When misfortune and infirmity occur, it's important to know someone who cares and can help. Pearson Medical Equipment has Maryland's largest selection of medical aids, equipment, and supplies. More than anyone else, Pearson Medical can help make life as comfortable, normal, and rewarding as possible. For the widest selection of in-home medical equipment and supplies, call the leader at 391-1811. Pearson Medical Equipment. People who care for people who need care.
People are using their phones a lot more these days.
Not again.
Sports buffs have made it part of their daily routine because now you can get local and national sports scores 24 hours a day, including race results, and they're updated throughout the day. A 50-cent call connects you with Channel 2 Sports Call. Wherever you are, whenever you want, all the scores are at your fingertips. Channel 2 Sports Call, 976-9627.
It's Thanksgiving in Baltimore, and it's Calvert Hall and Loyola football, a tradition as these two teams meet. Who's that masked man over there waving behind the camera? 65th meeting between the schools, and the series is tied 28-all with 8 games ending in ties. And the first half has been pretty much Calvert Hall, but Loyola has a little edge statistically, John.
Well, Calvert Hall definitely has the edge, or rather Loyola has the edge in the first half statistically. And as we look, here it is, the first touchdown on the day. There's that fake, and it's just off to the races after that.
Now, they've got the wrong man there. There's the guy that's doing the damage, Sean Lyles, and got a block right there. And he takes it 76 yards for the touchdown.
That's the way they opened. I think one thing that Joe Brune had to tell his troops at halftime is, hey, we can't feel bad at all. We're really controlling the ball, and if not for those 3 interceptions, there's a good chance we'd have a lead. But one of their touchdowns coming on that long kickoff return.
What do you think psychologically these two teams come up? It's the big game of the year for them, and they kind of deflate you by running one back for a touchdown. Loyola has really hung in there pretty well. They didn't get blown out. Now, this is one of the problems. 3 interceptions. This set up the second touchdown.
And as we can see, that one was Frank Grunder who who intercepted that. That's been the problem for Gelati. He's thrown the ball well, but he's forced it at times. There's been times when there's just no way he should put it up, eat the ball. He's wanted to run it a lot, so why not run it on those occasions when you don't have someone open?
And then the Grunder interception led to the second score. All the scoring coming in the first quarter as Calvert Hall put the points up early. And the second touchdown right here, running back Mike Sanders got some good blocking.
Well, as I said, he took 3 steps and was already practically headed towards the end zone on that one. Excellent line work by the Calvert Hall offensive line. But as I say, Joe Vroon can say to his guys at halftime, they've got a couple of big plays on us in those 3 interceptions. Otherwise, we're in the game or possibly have a lead. We certainly would have been on the scoreboard. As we take a look at the halftime stats, so you can see there's a big surprise there. Calvert Hall does have the lead, but that 164 total yards includes that 74-yard touchdown return. So the Dons have really dominated. And the rushing is about even, but passing, Calvert Hall's only got 11 yards, while Gelati's got 66. The big key is the turnovers, the 3 interceptions that the Dons have given up and that the Cardinals have dominated on has made the big difference in the game.
And those total yards also reflect, like you said, the long kickoff return from Lyle. So offensively, the edge has gone to Loyola in the first half, but turnover is such an important part of football. And the kicking game also figuring in with the kickoff for the touchdown. Let's see if Loyola has any tricks up their sleeves for the kickoff return here as Kirk Maggio tees it up on the 40-yard line. As you look at the first half numbers, I don't think Loyola is going to change much offensively. The problem being, let's not turn the football over because we can get back in the game.
No, they've had success offensively. They really don't have to change that much. The only thing is Gelati's just got to be more disciplined with the ball. He's got to learn to eat it. If he's going to take his licks when he's running the ball on the sideline, then he's got to learn to take them in the backfield as well. Take a loss of a couple rather than turning the ball over.
Dave Carlin and Trent Spriggs are deep for the Dons. Kirk Maggio will put the foot to it. The quarterback for the Cardinals, who doubles up as their place kicker, soccer-style kicker. And here he comes. We're underway in the second half. Coming down to Spriggs. Tries to make a cut and loses his footing just across the 20. So the Dons will take over on their own 22. Steve DeGrosse made the tackle.
The grass is very short at that end of the field, and when it is this cold, it can get a little slippery. The moistness overnight gets damp, and there's almost like a little sheet of ice on top of the grass if you walk down on the field, and it's tough to get good footing.
They're down at the baseball infield end of Memorial Stadium, and it's also the end that really got torn up after the Maryland-Clemson game here. We'll set the offense for you. Gelati is the quarterback. Line it up in the power eye this time. Fakes the handoff. Looking, and now flips it. McGonigal was wide open, but he just simply overthrew him.
Gelati wanted McGonigal to head upfield, and McGonigal was rather just going laterally. He could see that McGonigal, if he had have turned to his left and headed upfield, he would have been wide open. And Gelati threw it where he wanted him to be. When McGonigal turns his shoulder, that's when Gelati releases the ball. You watch here, Gelati waves him upfield, and McGonigal doesn't want to go.
Baines and Gurley are the running backs in the eye behind Frank Gelati. Spriggs also the power back. Now in motion goes Baines. The handoff is to Spriggs to the short side, and he is stacked up. A big hit by Frank Grunder.
I'll tell you something, these kids don't mind taking a lick.
Yeah, we can hear the pads popping, and we got a little distance between us and the field.
They get over near that sideline. They don't want to go out of bounds. If I'm going out of bounds, it's going to be because you forced me out.
That was a 160-pounder meeting a 143-pounder, but they made some noise. 3rd and 7. Loyola first series of the second half, trailing 13-0. The quick pitch goes to Spriggs. Got a little room, but he's short of the first down, stopped at about the 29. So Loyola will be forced to punt on about 4th and 3. Kronberger on the tackle for the Cardinals.
We talked a lot about Loyola's offense and whether they would come out and do the same things. You have to question whether or not Calvert Hall will start changing anything when they come out, because they really haven't had any type of offense to speak of, really.
See if Carlin can get a little better foot into it this time. Sean Lyles is standing back on his own 45. The snap is good. Carlin took his time. Coverage should be decent and gets a good bounce, so it'll roll inside the 40 and rolls dead just about on the 35. So pretty good punt from Dave Carlin. 34 yards with no return. Calvert Hall will have it 1st and 10 on their own 35. Clock is stopped. 10.5 minutes left in the third quarter.
A check for all the money you need. If you own a home, it's easier to get than you may think. This is Friedlander Financial's Loan Central. This is where Friedlander home equity loan specialists help you get the money you need. These people are trained to say yes. 9 out of 10 homeowners who call Friedlander get the check they need within 1 week. Whether you need $5,000, $10,000, even $100,000, normally 1 week is all it takes. If there's something worthwhile a check like this can do for you, call your local Friedlander office. Here's the number to call. When a Friedlander-trained operator answers, give her your name and telephone number and tell her the kind of loan you'd like. Friedlander understands the confidential nature of your call. Why spend another night worrying about money? In 1 week's time, you can have your own Friedlander check.
In Towson, call 828-4171.
Head coach Augie Maselli looking on from the Cardinal bench. As we said earlier, he's won 81% of his games at Calvert Hall. There's Joe Brune on the far side, trying to figure out a way to get his team on the scoreboard, trailing 13-0. Calvert Hall now with the football, 1st and 10 from their own 35. That's Scott Freitag on the left side, got about 3 or 4. Mallory on the stop. Sure, Calvert Hall would like to get a little offense going here, John. They basically have got the interceptions from the defense, and of course the big kickoff return. But really haven't had much success on the ground. We thought they'd do a lot better between the tackles. Freitag again as they start running the slot back a little more. We didn't see much of him in the first half. Linnetud, 6'3", 225-pound senior, the tackler.
This is exactly what Joe Brune wants now, is to hold Calvert Hall, not give them the ability to move the ball on the ground and get them passing the ball. They feel Maggio, that's his weakness, is passing the ball, and Calvert Hall certainly didn't throw it a lot this season.
3rd and 4. Maggio throwing down the middle. It's deflected by linebacker Troy Vance. Vance with a good play forces the punt.
He's a big play man, and he wasn't far from intercepting that ball.
Yeah, you can see Loyola's playing some pretty good football, and they're really just like one big play. They need a break and a big play to set up their offense to really get back into this thing.
Well, the way that they have shown the ability to move the ball, if they get it anywhere within decent field position, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. But yes, they got to get that ball across the line.
Let's see if Tim Healy punts it away from McGonigal, as he has several times here in the first half. Low snap, good pressure, but he gets off a great punt, driving McGonigal all the way back to the 15. Finds a little room in the middle and gets it up to about the 22. A 45-yard punt for Tim Healy, and that's the reason a lot of schools are interested in looking at him. Not only a talented running back with size, but he's a terrific punter. 6'1", 215-pound Tim Healy, under some heavy pressure, booms off a dandy.
Does a great job just to get the ball off, and you can see he forces McGonigal back. But watch the Calvert Hall coverage. Their special teams have done an excellent job. All you see is white. That's all McGonigal sees as well, and that's why he goes nowhere.
Junior Frank Gelati hands off to Spriggs. He's got some room. Cross the 40. He's up to midfield. One Calvert Hall player to beat, and he's just tripped up. The saving tackle made by number 21, Frank Grunder. The little guy, Trent Spriggs, 5'5", 143-pound junior, bangs the long play that we were talking about. We said they needed a lift, and he just gave them one.
They certainly did. Spriggs, as we said, is not a big guy, but he's very quick. The hole isn't open that long, but he just darts through it, and from there, Grunder's the only guy left. It's a 43-yard run. I didn't really think Grunder was going to get to him. He dives and just kind of gets the shoelaces to take him out. Otherwise, Spriggs is into the end zone.
There was one more Calvert Hall player upfield that might have had a chance to cut him down near the goal line, but Trent Spriggs gives Loyola the big lift they needed, and now let's see if they can take it in. They've got it on the Loyola with it on the Calvert Hall 34-yard line, 1st and 10. Gelati wants to put it up. He's got room to run, now throws deep for McGonigal. It's caught. What a reception as he was hit hard. Brian Kronberger smacked McGonigal just as he caught the football. I thought there might be interference, but there wasn't, and McGonigal held on.
McGonigal does a great job on this play. First of all, though, the work is done by Gelati. He's got good coverage. He rifles the ball in there. Now watch McGonigal. He has to come back over top and steal the ball away.
No interference. It was, anybody's football, and Kronberger went up for the ball. So a good grab by Bruce McGonigal, who's been their big play man this year.
And another interesting note we talked about, and we'll talk about it when we come back, and that's Gelati rolling out. But we got to take a break right now. We'll be right back.
After you carve your Thanksgiving turkey, go cut a deal on a Nissan truck with any Datsun dealer. It's the Nissan Truck Challenge, and if you ever wanted to buy a truck, it's a great time. Datsun dealers have been challenged to sell every truck before the end of the month, and they challenge you to find better values anywhere. Whatever you want, king cabs, 4x, sport trucks, long beds, name it. They're all up for grabs, but they're moving fast, so you move fast. Come to the Nissan Truck Challenge. You'll thank me. Pilgrim.
Soap and Water are featured tomorrow at 5 on Newscope. Hi, I'm Jackie Brockington. Find out why Procter & Gamble is still fighting the devil's image. Dr. Bill Howard tells why good old-fashioned water is still your body's best friend. And we'll wrap up our look at your business and health. Plus, Susan White Bowden introduces you to 25-year-old Lewis Wiley. Although he has no use of his arms and legs, his drawings show an amazing outlook on life. Join Sloan Brown and me for these stories and more tomorrow at 5 on Newscope.
1st and goal from the 6 as Loyola tries to get on the scoreboard. Gelati's going to throw into the end zone. It's intercepted. Intercepted, and probably a bad decision to run that out. Frank Grunder picked it off and is tackled down near the 1 or 2 yard line. Grunder made a big play. Check it. It's Kronberger on the interception. 31, not 21. But I think he should have sat down and taken it on the 20. And another tough turnover for Loyola.
Once again, Scott, as I say, there's a lot of white shirts around where he's throwing. It's tipped. It was not going to McGonigal. If it wasn't picked off by Kronberger, somebody else would have picked it off.
But it could have been a costly mistake to run that thing out. Let's see what Calvert Hall does deep in their own territory. Kevin Lyles was the ball carrier. Loyola's defense just trying to keep them backed up there so they can get it back for their offense in good territory.
2nd down and 9.
Gary Reynolds checks in, number 89, as does Tony Harris. Just a gain of 1, 2nd and 9. Flag down. Mike Sanders struggles to about the 7, but we'll check the penalty. Chris Baines, the tackler, and John Linnatup.
I think Loyola could still come out of this all right. As you say, it could have been there's some movement on the line, it looks like.
I imagine they'll take the penalty here. It'll only be about a 1-yard penalty, but it'll negate the gain. Yards rushing, Loyola with a definite edge, 122 yards on the ground. Calvert Hall, 86. Both teams have carried the football 23 times. And Joe Brune tells his defensive captain to take that penalty.
Illegal procedure on Calvert Hall. Half the distance to the goal line.
The ball is now inside the 1.
Second down and 10 from the 1-yard line.
And the safety's a possibility here. Inside handoff. Comes to the big guy, Tim Healy, 6'1", 215-pound senior. Crashes across the 5, gets it to about the 7. Troy Vance involved on the tackle. 3 players run in for Calvert Hall. Tony Harris, Chip Barnes, and Kevin Lyles all come in. The Hall looking at 3rd and 4. Kirk Maggio calling signals. Hands off, first down, up across the 10 to about the 13. That's Mike Sanders.
We talked about the strength of this guy, Sanders. He shows it right there. He was stopped short of the first down, and he just burst out of the tackle to get across and get Calvert Hall out of a big hole.
Jeppy and McGonigal finally brought him down, but that's a big first down for Calvert Hall. They started from the 1. Healy and Sanders, the running backs behind Kirk Maggio. Boy, not much going on there. A big hit delivered by John Jeppy.
He's doing his Mark Gastineau imitation.
He's not going to get a flag for it either.
No, you're allowed to do that here.
We're under 5 minutes now left in the 3rd quarter. We haven't had any scoring since the opening quarter. In motion is Sean Lyles. Handoff goes to Tim Healy. He's got some room. He could go. Tim Healy has 1 man to beat and now finally gets run down. Troy Vance and Chris Baines kind of sandwiched him, but Healy gets across the 40 all the way down to the 38-yard line. Give him 46 yards on the pickup. And he finally popped one.
Yeah, well, he had a big enough hole to run it through. But he shows good speed for a big guy, too. This guy's over 200 pounds, and he lumbers. But he shows excellent speed, and he tries to make a cut here. Thought he might get inside 1 man, and that's where Vance picks him up.
1st and 10. Calvert Hall on the move. Drive started at their 1. Mike Sanders gets about 5 through the middle. Tom Burt, the tackler.
Michael Sanders on the carry. Brought down by John Lewis.
I guess we're getting to the part of the game, John, where Calvert Hall keeps moving different people in. They go 2 platoons, and maybe a little fatigue setting in on that Loyola defense. Sanders again. Flag is down. He's inside the 30, all the way to about the 26-yard line, but could be coming back. Baines and Jeppy, the tacklers.
You were right about moving different people in. They're just starting to wear Loyola down, and that's what we talked about early in the game, whether or not, as we look at the band having a little bit of fun on the sidelines, and while they should with a 13-0 lead. But as we said earlier in the game, it's a question of wearing people down. Loyola doesn't have the numbers, and they don't have the size. Calvert Hall can do that over the course of a game.
Loyola's defensive front, I think, tells you a lot. They've got Lenitude, who's 225 pounds with some good size, but then it's 173, 190, 180, 190. Those are the guys up front. Linebackers, 165 pounds.
Second down at 16.
The running backs that are coming at them are bigger than the linemen, so.
Absolutely. 2nd and 16. Ball just inside the 45. Kirk Maggio going to throw off of play action. Flips it over the middle. It's complete to Healy. He had only caught 1 pass coming into today's game, so used primarily from the running back position. Catches the football here. Burt made the tackle for Loyola. 16 yards on that play.
Keep hearing that name, Troy Vance.
Yeah, he's around the football a lot.
29-yard line. 3rd down and
1. 3rd and 1. Kevin Lyles and Healy are the running backs. Tim Healy's got it, and he's got the first down.
And he got the first down by himself, as a matter of fact, too, because he was hit at the line of scrimmage, and then just the strength of him pushed his way to get 3 or 4 more yards in the first down.
Kept the legs moving and showed good balance.
It's easy to see why Calvert Hall didn't throw the ball a lot this year. When you got those 2 guys coming out of the backfield, you don't have to.
Quarterback Kirk Maggio. Hands off to Freitag. He gets inside the 20. Now they're in Kirk Maggio field goal range. Augie Maselli said anytime they get the ball inside the 25-yard line, he said he feels confident that they can get the 3-pointer. And I guess 3 would be pretty important here because the 16 would be pretty tough to get. There's the Calvert Hall Cardinal, the team mascot. Hey, he says, I'm here. Healy again, as they just keep wearing them down between the tackles. And now we're starting to really see the Calvert Hall power football. Nothing fancy. We're coming right at you. We're going to outblock you and outrun you.
And just defy you to beat us, and they can do that with the size that they have. But as I say, the running backs that are coming at the defensive line of Loyola are bigger than they are.
Maybe a good time out here as Joe Brune's going to try to regroup his defense here and close the door on Calvert Hall. Clock stopped, 1:29 left in the third quarter. Calvert Hall leads the game 13-0.
You know what's really embarrassing? When you're misled by some tricky advertising, and you stand in the middle of the showroom like an idiot, and the salesman's going, yeah, well, that price is for a totally stripped car. I mean, if you're going to give me the price of a car, give me the price of a real car.
When your Buick dealer gives you a price, believe it.
I mean, don't insult my intelligence.
Something strange is happening at WKRP in Cincinnati.
Hi.
Of course, strange is no stranger to the folks at KRP.
Take your head off, Herb. Surely.
But now they've gone too far. Now they're playing rock and roll. Tonight at midnight on Channel 2.
Right after this word from Shady Hills Restaurant.
I think those two are left from the last Colt game here last November.
Great seats, eh, buddy?
Right in front of Bob Euchre. We couldn't see Bob in the shot. He was just a row or two back. Here comes Calvert Hall. And Michael Sanders runs out of a tackle again and is all the way down near the 6. Quite a drive they've had here, John.
That's right. Before that play, they moved it in 10 plays, 83 yards. The drive started at the 2. They really actually got backed up then inside the 1-yard line with a penalty. So they've moved the ball very nicely, and they've done it on the ground.
Got to give those guys up front a lot of credit for Hall, DePietro, Tony Rampola, Scott Wheeler, Todd Still, and Ken Nichols. That's the offensive line. Tim Healy inside.
Right, they could get the first down without scoring easily.
At the Don's 4-yard line.
Clock is running. Just about 30 seconds left here in the third quarter. Healy and Sanders line up behind Kirk Maggio. This is Michael Sanders. And good defense that time by Loyola as they shut him down.
Well, they blew Healy back, and Sanders ran right into the back of Healy, right into the back of his own man.
Chris Dolch,
Loss of 1 yard on the play.
senior end, with a good hit there for the Dons. That's going to end the third quarter, too. Clock running, and they're not going to be able to get another play off. Our referee Bill Ryan step in the huddle and inform Kirk Maggio of that fact, so they'll come all the way down to the other end. No scoring in the third quarter, so the score remains Calvert Hall 13, Loyola 0. Back for the fourth and final quarter in just a minute.
City O's has been selling Oldsmobiles since 1919 and has earned a reputation for selling for less and servicing best. But new Oldsmobiles aren't the whole story. At City O's, you can always count on service satisfaction, whether it's parts, body shop repairs, or mechanical services that you need. City O's has a fine selection of quality used cars, plus daily rentals and lease cars. In other words, City O's is down the road with you all the way. If I can ever be of any assistance, see me. My desk is right on the showroom floor.
Your friends at Santoni's Supermarkets would like to extend their warmest Thanksgiving wishes to you and your family. At Santoni's, serving you is our pleasure.
If your knowledge of the world of medicine isn't what it should be, things are looking up. New Scene 2's Toby Marsh has covered the health scene longer than anyone else on Baltimore television. Toby gets answers from the experts, the New Scene 2 Medical Resource Panel, 20 specialists with years of experience. As a news anchor, Toby knows our community, so she reports with insight in a way you'll understand. Health Scene with Toby Marsh on New Scene 2. Another reason people are glad they have a choice.
Be there tomorrow night at 9 on Channel 2 when Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Earl Jones star in the smash hit adventure comedy fantasy, Conan the Barbarian. Should be a comedy. Join the mythical hero Conan as he battles the forces of evil to avenge the parents' brutal murders and retrieve the sword bequeathed by his father. Conan the Barbarian. Tomorrow night at Channel 2, and I know I'll be there.
Back here in the real world, Calvert Hall has the football. And that is number 40, Kevin Lyles.
Number 36, Steve Gurley. Third down and goal to go from the 4.
3rd and goal now from the 4. Calvert Hall trying to put this thing away. They're on top 13-0. Another touchdown would do it. Pitch to Healy. He's got a nice hold and dives, but he's just short. Came up about a foot short of a touchdown. Steve Gurley and Bruce McGonigal were there to make the stop.
And McGonigal really did the job to save it. He's done it on offense and defense today, but if McGonigal doesn't take the feet out from under him, he's into the end zone.
It's a big play, 4th and short, so Calvert Hall is going to make sure that they're calling the play they want. They call a timeout. Augie Maselli is in that huddle talking to his offense. The band.
And they weren't making music there, just noise.
Well, I guess with Tim Healy and Mike Sanders, anything other than those two would be a surprise.
There's certainly no doubt about that. They haven't...
They're really inches short here.
I don't think they've thrown the ball on this drive at all, have they? And they've moved it from their half-yard line up to the half-yard line of Loyola. And I don't think they put the ball in the air once. Somebody put a microphone inside one of those drums. It sounds like...
Turn that up a little, guys. Steve Miller providing the music in your homes.
There's a lot. Mitch,
our audio man. Okay, here we go. 4th and goal. Fake to Healy. Good call, and he'll walk in for the touchdown. Kirk Maggio faked it, and I'm not sure who decided to call that play, but it's a great call, and it really fooled the Loyola defense as you had to look for Healy down there. 99-yard drive in 14 plays, and watch him bite on the fake right there. Maggio did a good job. He pulled it in, pulled it out. The whole Calvert, or the whole Loyola defense was on Healy, and Kirk strolls it in. Well, that was what Joe Brune was afraid of, I think, happening today, drives like that, and that's the first time all day. They're fake it and go for 2, and it's pass complete. Mike Sanders catches the 2-point conversion from Kirk Maggio. That's the nice thing about having a quarterback being your kicker. They snapped it directly to the kicker and hit the 2, and it's now Calvert Hall 21, Loyola nothing. We'll be back in just a minute.
This is Friedlander Financial's Loan Central. This is where Friedlander Home Equity Loan Specialists help you get the money you need. 9 out of 10 homeowners who call Friedlander get the check they need within 1 week. Whether you need $5,000, $10,000, even $100,000, normally 1 week is all it takes. To apply, please call this number.
Friedlander always has money to lend.
In Towson, call 301-828-4171.
No matter where people live, work, and shop, when it comes to buying a car, they come to Fox because it's well worth the trip.
We live in the city, and we shopped around, and we found that Fox gave us the best deal. Not only did Fox have the best selection, but I saved about $500.
I went to at least 8 Chevrolet dealers before I went to Fox. And there I got the most courteous service and the best deal.
It's well worth the trip to Fox, the Chevrolet Auto and Truck Discount Center, a direct factory authorized outlet, Security Boulevard at Beltway Exit 17.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, Calvert Hall against Loyola. Let's pause now 5 seconds for station identification.
This is WMAR TV2 in Baltimore, Maryland's leader in sports broadcasting.
Kirk Maggio will kick it off for Calvert Hall. He has just scored a touchdown and passed for a 2-point conversion to put his Cardinals up 21-0. And Spriggs misjudges the football. It rolls in the end zone. And once it crosses the goal line, it's a dead football, so it'll come out to the 20.
Again, he lost his footing as he had on the previous kickoff, too. Oh, he fielded the ball the last time, lost his footing and lost the ball.
Well, with the score now 21-0, Frank Gelati's approach has to change. He's got to air the football out and not just short passes. He's got to move in a hurry.
We'll see if he goes into that drop back stance that he was being successful with.
Shows what we know, right? As Tret Spriggs carries for 5.
As we had said, we talked about Joe Bruin and told us his quarterback was much more successful rolling out and sprinting out. And what we've seen today, the 2 big passes that he's thrown, most to McGonigal, have come when he's dropped back into the pocket, set up, and fired it.
Second down and 6. Quick pitch. Spriggs run down from behind for a loss on the play.
You got to figure that Joe Bruin really is showing a lack of faith in his young quarterback at this point. Down 21 points with a little over 10 minutes left in the entire game, and he's still electing to run the football on 1st and 2nd down.
Rob Klein checks in with a play as you look at the Calvert Hall bench. Have to be pretty satisfied with their day's work up to this point.
How come they don't turn into the camera like the pros and say we're number 1 and hi mom?
Because the cameraman's not yelling at them, look over here, wave, do something. They prompt those guys to do that. Now he's going to put it up, and he's got McGonigal deep. The pass underthrown. Oh, he almost got it back, and then it was nearly intercepted. About 4 players had their hands on that football. It was a little underthrown. The defenders tipped it up. McGonigal got his hands on it again. Maybe we'll get another look at that one. Here it is.
How many times has this happened to you, Scott, playing touch football in the backyard? I got it. It's coming to. I got it. I got it. I got it. No, I don't have it.
And just about picked off. Fourth and 6, and thrilling 21-0. Carlin lines up the punt. No fake. Gets the kickoff. Lyles calls for the fair catch. Sean Lyles, I should say. He's got a brother that also plays. And it's a 26-yard punt, no return. Calvert Hall will have it near midfield.
And I think with the 21-0 lead and the fact that they kept the ball on the ground the last time, didn't put it up there, they'll just grind this one out as well. See if the 2 big backs can get it into the end zone for another one.
If you have finished your Thanksgiving feast by 2 o'clock, you may want to stop by the stadium. City and Pauley this afternoon. Pauley 9-0, the A Conference champions. They've outscored their opponents this year 261-7. And the top team in the area, of course. One of the top teams in the country. Maggio throwing, overthrowing. Pass was intended for number 33, Tony Harris.
Scott, you know, college and professional players who brought our state fame on the gridiron will be honored by Maryland's new football shrine. 7 Colts and 6 players from Maryland colleges and universities will be the first inductees. Meet the men who helped make football great in Maryland. Please join them at the Baltimore Convention Center on December 6th at 6 o'clock for the Maryland Football Shrine Banquet. Call 1-800-492-0704 in Baltimore, 396-4900.
Second down and 10. Straight up the middle comes Tim Healy across the 45, spins to about the 43.
Tackled by number 72, John Linetud.
It's big John Linetud there to make the hit for the Dons as the clock ticks down, nearing the 9-minute mark.
8 of 8 yards. Third down and 2 from the Loyola 44-yard line.
Tony Harris and Sean Lyles come in for Calvert Hall. Here comes the big guy again. Tim Healy.
116 carries for 673 yards this year. It's a 5.8-yard average. You give it to him back-to-back, you got a first down.
If you look in the Calvert Hall huddle, John, I think they've got a ringer in there. Their left offensive tackle, John DePietro. Look at the line of scrimmage. He has the St. Louis Cardinal football helmet. He does not have a Calvert Hall Cardinal helmet.
They stuck him in there.
Yeah. See if we can get a shot of him. You see the left tackle there in the white helmet. Pass is complete. The little flip goes to Chip Barnes, and he's near the first down marker and may have one.
It's the first time they put the ball in the air for a while, but that's what you can do when you're running it almost every time. You're going to catch them and fool them, especially with those little short out passes.
May have to bring the sticks across and measure.
There you can see that St. Louis Cardinal helmet.
Yeah, that's our man, John DePietro. So he'll be leaving today and heading back to St. Louis to get ready for the Redbirds next game.
Good look at it.
Maybe he's got the right helmet and all the other guys got the wrong one on today.
I bet that's what his parents say.
It was a first down. Maggio on the slant over the middle. He's got Lyles, and he's going to go for the touchdown. Sean Lyles beat Thurman Mallory. Just a slant over the middle, and Kirk Maggio was on the money, and this thing is turning into a rout.
That's what we were just talking about, though. They're looking for the run on every play. When you do that, you're drawing the defensive backfielders and the linebackers in a few steps, and that opens up that slant as he just steps across the middle, and he's wide open, takes it in for the touchdown.
Sean Lyles is having himself a pretty good day. Of course, return the opening kickoff all the way for a touchdown. Kirk Maggio's kick is up, and this one is right down the pipe. Calvert Hall now has a commanding lead. The Cardinals 28, Loyola nothing. And boy, I wouldn't want to be on the bottom of that thing. We'll be back in just a minute.
It's a great time. The Nissan Truck Challenge. If you ever wanted a truck, it's a great time to buy. The challenge is on now at every Datsun dealer around. They challenge you to find a better truck value anywhere because every dealer has been challenged by Nissan to sell every truck before the end of the month, and they're going to do it. So if you want a deal, they want a deal. Name it. King cabs, 4x, long beds, sport trucks, they're all up for grabs at the Nissan Truck Challenge. It's a great time. Be at your nearby Datsun dealers early for the best selection.
Nevada Bob's, the world's largest chain of discount golf stores, comes to Baltimore. Nevada Bob's, featuring the world's largest selection of name-brand golf equipment like Spalding, Wilson, Titleist, and McGregor, all at prices unmatched anywhere. Our indoor driving range will make shopping at Nevada Bob's fast become your favorite sport. So remember, for all your golf needs, from clubs, bags, and balls, to shoes and golf apparel, it's Nevada Bob's, 11021 York Road in Cockeysville, near Valley View Farms.
You see the score, time remaining 7:49, but basically this one's over as far as the decision is concerned, as Calvert Hall has had a big fourth quarter here to put it out of reach. Spriggs picks up the kickoff and is stopped immediately at about the 27-yard line. Sean Lyles, who scored that last touchdown, has had a big day. 30 yards on the pass reception from Kirk Maggio, and of course he got the scoring started on the opening kickoff when he reversed the kickoff 74 yards for a touchdown.
From the 27-yard line, a 7-yard return on the kickoff.
Don't forget all you pro football fans later on this afternoon on Channel 2, New England and Dallas. And here's the touchdown, the slant to Lyles. Gelati to the near side. He's going to run it. And goes down at the 31. Doug Jasinski, the tackler for Calvert Hall, and we've got a player shaken up on the play.
Gelati's going to learn as he gets a little more experience, Scott. And I'm sure Joe Bruno sit him down after this game and look at the films of it. But on those sprint outs, he's got to at least create the illusion that he might put the ball up in the air. And at that point, he's not doing that at all. Everybody knows he's going to run it, and they're all coming in.
We have, I think, our first injury of the day. Certainly would like to see anybody hurt, but so far, despite all the hard hitting, we haven't had anybody shaken up.
There's the guy on the bottom. He said you'd hate to be on the bottom. There he is, and he's just a little guy, too.
Meanwhile, some attention. Now the injured player's back up on his feet. That's Steve DeGrosse, and Steve appears to be all right. Glad to see that. He's a senior, so this is his last time around.
He's a little angry that he even has to come off the field, but as you know, you get injured, you have to come out for at least a play.
Loyola is faced with a 2nd and 6. Over the middle, the pass is complete at the 35-yard line. Rob Klein has it, gets bounced back to about the 32, but let's see where they mark it. Forward progress was up near the 35.
Just there they call the defense a Cobra Corps.
The Cobra Corps.
Cobra Corps. Now the pressure's on the Cobra Corps. See if they can hold this team to a shutout.
In Calvert Hall's 7 wins, they've held their opponents to just over 7 points a game. Play action fake. Gelati across the 40. He's got a first down at about the 45.
Gelati, the ball carrier.
That's the moral victory the Dons are playing for now. They want to get on the scoreboard.
That's right. You don't want to come out of here shut out.
Gain is to the 45-yard line. First down and 10.
They would have been on the scoreboard if not. Interception in the end zone, the 4th of the game. It was unfortunate because it was on a first down as well.
Drops straight back, throwing for McGonigal. It's complete. He was well covered, but that time Frank Gelati threw it right on the money.
The thing that's impressed me about McGonigal is his ability to find the ball under coverage. As you said, he was well covered, and anybody should have had a shot at the ball, but McGonigal is the one who comes back to it, keeps his eye on it at all times, always has a good mind on his quarterback and what he's doing with the ball.
18 yards on the completion. Frank Gelati to Bruce McGonigal. 1st and 10 from the Calvert Hall 37, rolling out to the near side. He's got some blockers in front of him, has some room. 25 and forced out of bounds inside the 25. So the Dons moving down. Right side of the offensive line out there to lead them that time. John Jeppe and Chris Dolch.
Makes the ball to the 23-yard line. First down and 10.
You watch it again as he rolls out, sprints out, gives it one pump, and then tucks the ball away and takes off. We saw after that exchange, Well, 7 or 8 players coming onto the field for Calvert Hall. They made a big defensive change.
Guardian Angels out there, Tom Lyag, the pulling guard, and the fullback, Steve Gurley. And this time he takes it to the other side. It's got a man in the end zone, but it's underthrown. Frank Szymanski was out there, but the ball was underthrown and nearly intercepted.
It's nearly number 5 on the day. He's underthrown and thrown behind Szymanski as well. And Grunder very nearly came up with his second interception of the day, which would have been the 5th against Gelati.
You pointed out earlier, John, that Joe Broon said they like the sprint out. They've really done better sprinting out than throwing in the pocket, but today at least, Gelati has had trouble throwing on the run. When he drops straight back and sets up, he's thrown the football with a lot more zip on it. Straight up the middle, Gurley's got some room and pounds down near the 10 or 11. David Kelly finally ran him down.
Gurley's doesn't look to be very tall, but he seems kind of stocky, like a fire plug.
5'9", 173, they list him at. A low center of gravity, they call that, right?
That's right.
McGonigal split to the top of the screen. Down low is Frank Szymanski. They run it in the eye. He's looking for McGonigal. Touchdown. So that combination has been good for Loyola today. Frank Grunder was the defender on the play, but Frank Gelati found his favorite target. And Bruce McGonigal with the 11-yard reception.
He rolls out, but he really pulls up and rifles this one at McGonigal, who has that tremendous ability to get open. Right on the numbers.
McGonigal's a good-looking athlete. Rob Schmidt is the kicker. Mike Tribby in to hold for Loyola.
Be interesting to see if they would bother going for a fake and going for a 2-point conversion.
I don't think it matters too much at this point, John.
Doesn't matter, but as you said, just that little bit of pride if they can put 8 points on.
Tribby's kick is up, and it's good. So after a 73-yard drive that covered 8 plays, McGonigal scores the touchdown, and Rob Schmidt tacks on the point after. There's 5:16 left to play. Thanksgiving morning at Memorial Stadium. Calvert Hall has the lead 28-7.
City O's has been selling Oldsmobiles since 1919 and has earned a reputation for selling for less and servicing best. But new Oldsmobiles aren't the whole story. At City O's, you can always count on service satisfaction, whether it's parts, body shop repairs, or mechanical services that you need. City O's has a fine selection of quality used cars, plus daily rentals and lease cars. In other words, City O's is down the road with you all the way. If I can ever be of any assistance, see me. My desk is right on the showroom floor.
America's making its choice, and it's looking for a great new deal. So McDonald's has put it together in one great meal. America's choice, America's choice. This is America's choice.
This is it, America. America's choice. A quarter pounder with cheese, extra large fries, and a large Coke, all together for just $2.79.
This is America's choice. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
28-7 is our score. 5:16 left in the fourth quarter. Sean and Kevin Lyles deep for Calvert Hall. Whoops. Got ready to start and then blew the whistle. Not really sure why, but they'll get it straightened out. We'll get back to playing football. Are you ready now, John?
I'm ready. I told him to stop.
Go ahead.
Go, guys.
Onside kick, and Calvert Hall covers up. Jumping on the football was number 81, Jim Mullen.
Kickoff is fielded by number 81, Jim Mullen. First down and 10 for the Cardinals.
Now That kick didn't have a chance to create any commotion at all. It just kind of skidded along the ground right into Mullen's hands. All he had to do was fall on top of it. You want to get those kicks to bounce around a little bit.
Chris Marzullo is now in at quarterback for the Hall. He's a 5'10", 170-pound junior, has completed 16 of 29 for 262 yards and a touchdown, so some pretty good numbers. He's the backup. Marzullo hands off. Scott Freitag, short gain on the play.
Scott Freitag, the ball carrier. Brought down by Tom First. Gain of 1 yard.
Just a yard on the play. Second down and 9 as Calvert Hall runs a couple of players in. Gary Reynolds and Sean Lyles come in with a play from head coach Augie Mastelli, who keeps his winning streak alive in this series and wins his 93rd game at Calvert Hall. Marzullo hands straight ahead to Healy. And Tim gets 3 or 4 over on the right side behind Ken Nichols and Todd Still.
He's getting a lot of good work from the line, but you still have to be impressed with the strength of Healy. It seems like every time he's got the ball, he's got 3 or 4 blue sweaters on him, and he's dragging them for 2 or 3 yards.
Cards starting to look at the clock now as the final minutes tick off. None of these guys have ever lost to Loyola as they've won the last 6. Marzullo's going to throw, pitches it out incomplete, trying to get it to Freitag, just off his hands.
Marzullo's attempted pass for number 24, Scott Freitag, is incomplete.
Coming up this afternoon at 2 o'clock at the stadium, come on out and watch City and Pauley. They've been going at it for 96 years. It's one of the longest rivalries in the entire nation. And in Pauley, the Engineers have one of the top teams in the country this year. They're 9-0. They've won the A Conference here, and they've only given up 7 points all year. Tim Healy to punt. Bruce McGonigal back deep for Loyola on 4th and 3. Healy bangs another one. McGonigal takes it out about the 7. Fumble, ball's loose, and Calvert Hall has the football. Number 74 caught it on the fly, Ken Nichols. As McGonigal was hit hard, it went straight up in the air, and there's the happy Ken Nichols.
Mark Gastineau, eat your heart out. You watch.
Who makes the hit here? I didn't catch that, John.
Number 24. He really just, it wasn't so much the hit, it just kind of twisted his arm as his body turned. It wasn't the impact of the hit, it was more the way in which he was hit, and as he twisted, his arm threw the ball right up into the air.
Well, it was Scott Freitag who made the first contact there, and Ken Nichols caught the football. Chris Marzullo's the quarterback. Got new running backs now for Calvert Hall.
You think 4 interceptions and 1 fumble tell the story today?
Yeah, I think so, John. That was Habler, the ball carrier, Paul Habler.
You mentioned the Pauley City game going on for 96 years, one of the longest rivalries. Can you believe that after 96 years, there's only a 1-game margin? Pauley has won 45, City's won 44, the rest in ties. That's amazing.
And this one is the 65th game, and we're just breaking a tie here today.
That's right.
Fumble, ball's loose. I think Loyola's got it. Almost looked like that. Yep. That ball was kicked through there. Chris Arthur was near the football.
It's the first turnover for Calvert Hall. When it comes at kind of an incidental time in the game, it really doesn't mean a thing. So they've done a good job, especially under cold weather conditions. You can see a lot of turnovers when it's this chilly down there.
Looks nice on television, the sun's shining, but it's a little cool down there on the field. We're under 2 minutes, 1:50 left in the game. McGonigal's open and catches the football at the 25. Frank Gelati finds his favorite man, Bruce Gelati.
McGonigal has that ability to somehow find a way to get open. It seems like he's open downfield all the time. It's just a question of whether or not they get the ball to him.
It's 1st and 10 after the completion to McGonigal. Ball's at the 25. Gelati fakes the pass. Now he's under some heavy pressure, throwing upfield, and it's nearly intercepted. Incomplete. Bob Persing almost had the football.
Back on the coverage for Calvert Hall, number 34, Bob.
Gelati's got a good scrambling ability. He's no question he's a good athlete. You can see him when he gets under pressure. He has that ability to get out of the pressure, throw on the run.
Kind of a strange.
Who are those guys up there?
Where's the camera? What's that thing sticking out of your ear here? Kind of a strange timeout for Calvert Hall here. 1:09 left to play, and 2nd and 10. And I guess Augie wanted to call timeout. I'm not really sure what that one was all about, but maybe he thought we needed another commercial.
He saw us on TV. He said, well, if they're going to show them instead of the game, I'm going to take a timeout.
Okay, I understand.
Cardinals, of course, will wrap up the season with an excellent record. 8-2, they'll finish up the 10-game season.
And a seven-game win streak. That really, carry them through the off-season and the weight training and all the things they do. It's not just a football season. They have an off-season program. Loyola is a fairly young team. You see guys like Gelati and McGonigal coming back, and their future should be a good one. Overthrown. The pass was intended for Frank Szymanski.
Well overthrown. He's got a good, strong arm. He just needs to be disciplined a little more. He's going to be a good quarterback.
Andre Berry on the coverage for Calvert Hall as we try to recognize as many players as we can that are getting into the game late here. Rob Klein just came in for Loyola. Augie said one of the coaches asked him why he didn't sub at all for Sean Lyles. Thought maybe he was running up a score. He said I had to tell him that was his brother back there. They look a lot alike. Trent Spriggs with the football gets across the 30 as we are now under a minute left in this one.
I make a prediction. We come back and watch this game next year. I think Mr. Gelati's going to put on quite a show. He's got a good arm. He's a good athlete. And I think if Joe Broom could get him to be a little more disciplined.
Unofficially, too, John, Bruce McGonigal, 6 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown. He's had a good day. Throwing for McGonigal, he's got another one, and that was a good grab. He had to adjust to the football and caught it across the 40.
He had to do a 360 to get to the ball. It was thrown behind him. He had to completely swing his body around to make the catch. You watch it again on the replay. The ball is thrown behind McGonigal. Spins right around, makes the grab, hangs onto it as he hits the ground.
Now Loyola takes a timeout. 27 seconds left in the game. NFL football this afternoon on Channel 2. America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, and the New England Patriots. Both of those teams in the playoff picture and be battling it out down in Irving.
As you say, an interesting matchup with the Patriots coming off of a 50-point outing against the Colts. The Buffalo Bills holding the Dallas Cowboys to just 3. You think Tom Landry was a little bit angry after that one?
I think there's a little smoke coming out from under that hat last week. There's Joe Broon. He's, coaching right to the end. Hi. The Calvert Hall Cardinal. So the series no longer deadlocked. We're 27 seconds away from Calvert Hall taking a 29-28 lead. 8 games ending in a tie. First and 10, just across the 40. Frank Gelati over the middle, incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Pat Leahy.
Again, that ball was thrown behind Leahy. He had no chance for it. It may have been just as well because he was covered. There we go. There's we're number one in a high mob. He's been watching NFL football.
Just like Monday night,
That's right.
Brian Kronberger right there. Throwing, and it's complete to Frank Szymanski. Nice toss and a good reception by Szymanski. 18-yard pickup down to the Calvert Hall 40. Clock stopped, and Loyola's going to stop it again. They want to try to get in one more time. 15 seconds left in the game.
Szymanski did a nice job to slip in between the coverage as well. Gets in back of the linebackers and in front of the defensive secondary, and he's wide open back there. Gelati spots him, rifles the ball right in. He's got a good strong arm, very strong. As you can see, Szymanski in between coverages.
Yeah, Augie and his guys.
Is he smiling yet? I didn't notice.
Vaguely.
Says, I'll smile in 15 seconds, okay?
You know coaches keep on their game faces.
There he goes.
Okay.
There he goes. All right,
Those are probably seniors around him. The juniors wouldn't get that close.
They got to come back next year.
Right. Yesterday I was at practice. He had one of his former players that played at South Carolina was there to see him, came back for the game. Another guy who was a college quarterback now was back. They all come back to say hello to the coaches.
They love him.
Nice sign, yeah. And they got to love that guy at Loyola. Bruce McGonigal catches yet another pass. Also stopped the clock by going out of bounds, so 10 seconds left. This would be real exciting if this was for the game. It's 28-7. Calvert Hall put this one away early in the fourth quarter with a couple of touchdowns.
I got to think McGonigal, just a junior, has the college scouts drooling right about now. They'll all be knocking on his door pretty soon.
Good hands. They look for him. There he is again. He had one put in, and they mark it just about on the 15. So 6 seconds left. Time for perhaps 2 more plays at the max.
And how much you want to bet they go to number 7?
It's a pretty good chance. Look at the Calvert Hall defense. They're the Calvert Hall cheerleaders. Here we go. Throwing in the end zone, intended for Leahy. Full contact there, but no flag.
1 second left.
And 1 second.
Second down and 15.
Okay, Coach, you make the call.
Well, let's see here. Throw the ball up, put 5 guys in one area, and just put it up for grabs and see who comes down with it.
1 second left in the game. Frank Gelati into the end zone, and it's a touchdown. He was outmanned 3-1. Guess who? Bruce McGonigal.
Unbelievable. What a performance McGonigal has put on. You watch it again today.
I think Joe Brune had the wrong game plan. He should have just come in and thrown on every play to Bruce McGonigal.
That's right. Look at that. Look at the white shirts around him. He still comes down with the football. He's been their punt returner. He's in the defensive backfield.
Leads the team in interceptions with 8 or 9.
I can see why. He can catch the ball.
Yeah, he knows how to get it. Rob Schmidt in to kick. Out of the hold of Mike Tribby. He hit it, so it's good. And that's how the game will end. Time has expired. It's all done. Calvert Hall has defeated Loyola 28-14, the final score. And there's a smiling Coach Augie Maselli as he wins his 7th straight against the rival Loyola Don. So we'll be back with a final wrap-up in just a minute.
Your Nissan Datsun dealer calls this the Nissan Challenge. And if you ever wanted to buy a car or truck, it's a great time. Every dealer has been challenged by Nissan to clear out all his cars and trucks before the month ends. And then extra allotments were brought in. So it's a great time to talk deals on the finest cars and trucks in Nissan history. Like the spirited Nissan Sentra. Dealers mean to keep Sentra, the #1 selling import in America. But get here while the getting's good. Be at your nearby Datsun dealers early for the best selection.
We're back at Memorial Stadium, and an interesting thing happening out near midfield as the two schools line up and shake hands as they cross at the center line. They're arch rivals, but yet when it's all said and done, you know, it's all said and done, and they're friends again. 28-14, the final, and Calvert Hall established the superiority early on the opening kickoff. Gave them a big lift.
Well, if you look at the game, it's a story of two players, really. McGonigal for Loyola with an outstanding performance, and Lyles, who, as you said, ran back the opening kickoff for the touchdown. From there, Loyola never trailed and really was never threatened. If you look at the total yardage in the game, total offense, Loyola did hold the edge in the game, so they did move the ball well. But Calvert Hall did it with special teams and with those 4 interceptions.
Okay, thank you, John, and I'd like to thank our staff who helped us so much here on this holiday, getting out here early this morning at Memorial Stadium. So no longer is the series tied. Calvert Hall wins the game today, 28-14. They now lead the series 29-28, with 8 games ending in ties. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Today's game has been brought to you in part by Gary Hurley's City Olds, where we sell for less and service best. By Friedlander, the mortgage people. Friedlander always has money to lend. By the Greater Baltimore McDonald's Family Restaurants. And by your nearby Nissan dealers, who invite you to come drive Major Motion. This 65th Thanksgiving Day Football Classic is a presentation of WMAR Sports, Maryland's leader in sports scores and sports scores and some highlights a bit later.
This party was in full.
First and 10 from their 49. 6 he goes. E3 cover.
Tell him that.
What's he do with the defense? What's the defense? Six space loam covered. 6-1 line with a go call, lock on man. 3rd and 5 from our 46. 4th and 5 from our 46. Line blitz, MAC coverage. 1st and 10 from our 26. 2nd and 20. Defense.
One, two.
To a line, D3 cover. The first down. 6-1 a line, 1st and 10 from our 14. Seven to a line, MAC coverage. 2nd and 6 from our 9.
You got a penalty with that.
Yeah. 6-1 a line blitz, MAC covered. You got 2nd and 11 from our 15.
Really split nuts down. Creating a tight switch situation.
It's a defensive shot. Sixth base with an ego.
Come on, over there! Okay, we got a clip.
Six 6-1 line ego.
There he is, 80, streaking across the field. There he is, he's trying to hit him. You gotta be kidding me! You gotta be kidding the man on the official on the scene didn't even call it. This guy over here, he's supposed to call it, the man over there call it.
1st and 10 from the 10.
What's his name?
2nd and goal from the 9.
Bootleg. Where's my defensive end at? The defensive end is Ian's getting chopped.
3rd and goal from the 2.
Right, there you go. Hit him. He's not over. Not a nice little whistle. He's going to quarterback sneak again. He's going to do it again.
4th and a foot.
He made it. Get inside him, James. Jeez, I've got everything covered except one stinking guy.
Touchdown, Cardinal Gibbons score. Gibbons 8, Calvert Hall 7.
We're passing him up. Passing him up. We're not going to win them. Are you kidding me?
At the end of the first half, the score is Gibbons 8, Calvert Hall 7. Clip against Gibbons.
Defensive strong. 7-2 alive. First and 10 from their 37. What was it? Yeah. 6-2 line scoop. Six-fire map cover. 3rd and 5 from their 43.
Here it is, Billy!
Oh, man. Face mask went up.
Face masking against Calvert Hall.
Looks like unsportsmanlike conduct against that. First, the defensive Shannon. 6-1 line blitz. 1st and 25 from their 46.
Nice coverage, Colin. Good coverage.
6 base. 2nd and 35. Fourth and 31.
Nice one, nice and low, baby. That's the way we like it. Come on, run it back, let's go!
Flipping against Calvert Hall.
We're not blocking on the corner.
Pass interference against Gibbons. Offside. rides against Gibbons.
First and 10 from the 1-yard line. Sixth base, Mac coverage. Nobody's there. Second and 2 from the 9-yard line. Third and a half a foot, 7 to a line. That's the end of the third quarter. Score, Gibbons 8, Cardinals 7. First and 10 from the 11. 7 base. Second and 5 from the 16.
Right here, let's go, let's punt the ball.
Third and 3, 6-1 line.
Stop him! Stop him!
First down, Gibbons.
First and 10 from the 22, 7 adjust.
Giving too much, giving 3 yards.
Second and 7 from the 25, 7 adjust.
He's open.
Nobody.
Incomplete pass. The referee calls that a complete pass.
First and 10 from the 37, 7 adjust. Second and 7, 6 tough from the 41-yard line. Third and 4 from the 44. Fourth and 8 from the 38.
We get it. You're late.
First and 10, 7 adjust. Second and 10 from the 40, 7 base.
Here it is. He got chopped again. Get on it. Please. He's interfering. He didn't even call it.
Seven base, Matt Calvert. 1st and 10 from the 24. Second and 9 from the 23. 6-1 on line with the blitz. Six fire, Matt cover. 3rd and 8 from the 22. First and 10 from the 50. 6 space blitz.
Clear ball and we got a clip.
Six base C3.
How you doing? You in practice still? Yeah. I haven't got it right in 4 years. Might as well try. Yeah, if you can.
I mean, you can write music with that stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, it's more dramatic. This is respectable. This is respectable. The angle.
The new camera is just
This is still. We don't have a camera yet. We're waiting on the face test. I mean, on the fire.
Are you sure you can work it?
Yeah. Are they going to run this like a game except for kickoff? You know what they're doing now?
No kickoffs.
They're running it just like they're doing
10 plays, 10 plays. 10 plays,
yeah.
Well, it's a controlled scrimmage. It's kind of
I hope so.
I don't think I've heard the second meeting either.
yeah, bad as long.
You have a fine son. I've told you.
Is that Kelly? Young Kelly? What?
Frank and Anthony were the same size.
See if you can get Tom Norris to move the boys back just a couple of steps. Right there, and then one of the legs is broken. Can you get one of the legs is broken? Stay right. Yeah. Just a step or two would be fine.
48 is the other thing. Tom! Move the boys back a little bit. Move them back. Better?
It's good. Good.
Are you happy over here? I
love it. I had, would you believe, 8th grade?
8th grade?
Yeah, middle school. We have a middle school, 7th grade, and now Anthony, I'll tell you, Anthony remembers Brother Timothy Dean.
Is he here?
Yes, well, he'll be in a day or two. Yes, he's going to be over here. Yes, he's going to be the principal of the middle school overall.